Odor is so funny.
As in odor?
So as in odor, but odor.
Because I've seen Drake do it, say some words weirdly.
Oh yeah.
That's grand, isn't it?
Bring the levels down a little bit. Don't want to overpower them.
Bitch, you better have my money when I come for the shit like ODB.
Yeah.
I'm my worst behavior.
Yeah, that's grand. That's
Yeah.
lovely. That's grand.
All right, flake. But now here, how's Easter going for everyone?
Remember?
Yeah. Here, man, remember? Only getting into Drake now, do you know that?
I wasn't expecting it to go so quiet.
Yeah. Swear.
It's so cold.
How... Wait a second.
I'm on a
How
Drake story.
recently is recent, though?
Oh, very recently
Very
for Drake. Yeah, he's
recent.
telling me, yeah.
This all,
For some reason, I thought you were into Drake before.
man, do you know what it
Whose
was?
hairstyle? No, whose hairstyle was it?
The hairstyle.
No.
Oh no, when I got my hair cut off Mitch, I did kind of look like, you know that picture of Drake where he's like,
Yeah.
with the low hair.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was more so comedy than like his music. But
Okay. But
now, I have to say, man, I got to Nothing Was the Same.
nothing was the same.
It's a class album.
It's a very good album.
It's a whopper album.
Very good album.
Man.
Favorite song on it?
My favorite song.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, he's gonna play.
Oh,
Is
worst
it?
behavior.
I think so, man.
Is it, yeah?
I think it's a fucking track.
It's unreal. The
It's
music
just a
video.
banger.
Yeah, remember that music video?
It is all
It's so
those
2013.
Yeah.
It's so 2013 when it came out.
Oh, so good.
I like
I
the
love
part.
that from Time.
Man,
Oh, J.A. Yes, Ellie.
Man.
Oh, just play a bit of the beat of
Yeah,
that.
can
Play
I?
a bit. The beats
little
and
bit.
beautiful.
Nah, man, her part in that, man, like
Yeah, it's
first
beautiful.
listen,
Yeah.
nearly brought me to tears, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Did it, yeah?
man, yeah,
Okay.
it's beautiful, man.
All right.
I just start crying. Yeah.
First cry on the podcast, guys. Yeah.
Tears at the club.
We actually haven't cried on the call. We haven't cried on the podcast.
Don't bring up this. Why does this
Yes.
crying thing come up
It's gonna
all the
happen.
time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Such a beautiful.
God. I remember we were doing a
forgot about
contemporary
this
class, and my dance teacher was just broken up with her boyfriend, and she was like,
This track.
"Is she okay?" She's like crying doing it. I was like,
Oh man.
If she's watching, I hope you're okay. I hope you're all right. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Nah, man. But man, what is it with Janae Aiko features, man?
She has such a distinct voice though.
Yeah.
Her
man.
tone is very just like, you know it's her when she comes on. It's very nice.
yeah,
Such a lovely tone.
that's when you know you're doing good, when your voice is like, and you know who that is.
You know who that is.
Know exactly who it is, man. Yeah.
Dreamy. Have you seen her set live? I don't know what it was. I don't know. I'm not sure if it was a tiny desk or just like a live set.
Yeah.
She's just there with her cup of tea, and she just looks like this majestic goddess singing.
I think it's a tiny desk.
Was it a
Yeah, because it's kind of like, it's a bit dim, isn't it? Yeah, it's a tiny desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the set was
Tea.
in the best way.
Say what you want, man. If someone's performing with a cup of tea, they're a legend, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're
Like
a cup
Daniel
of green
Caesar.
tea. Yeah,
Did he do it?
Yeah, he did as well.
In his tiny desk, he's just there with a cup of tea. I'm just like,
Tiny Desk is gold.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
gold.
good.
It's amazing.
I tried to do that, but then I remember I did that at the absentee gig.
Oh, yeah.
But I had way too many whiskey gingers before that.
Cancelled it out.
I remember.
And then I was so drunk afterwards, we went off and sang on the streets.
Man,
and
I
then
saw the video of that, man.
And I was like, no, man, I need to do this again, Mitch. I need to remember myself. This person was doing slam poetry.
That's hilarious.
This lovely person called Saturn was doing slam poetry. And I was like, I'm getting up and I'm doing the song again with you, Mitch. And I sang it in the wrong key.
One more time.
Slam poetry doing Blue Skies.
No. The person was doing slam poetry, but everyone was just getting up, reading out poems. And me, Mitch,
That is
stood up
so
and sang
funny.
Blue Sky.
That is gas, man.
We're all drinking cans.
Is there a video of this somewhere?
oh, man, that's fast.
Hope so.
No, man, I saw it
Oh,
because
I
Mitch used like a clip of it because Mitch put together like a video for New Day. And like there's a little bit where you're in it and you're like on a microphone.
That's
Yeah,
annoying!
yeah. It looks like it's down by the barge or something.
Yeah, we were moving around Dublin. We kept getting kicked
Singing
out
your
by the
way.
guards.
Oh, those are
Cat and
tough
mouse.
times.
That's crazy.
Guys, how's
Yeah.
Easter gone?
Oh, Jesus.
Any nice eggs? Give up anything for Lent? Break it today?
Oh, like, dude, I don't
don't like chocolate
I don't
like
really
that.
like chocolate
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not a biggest fan.
Fair.
I've still got an egg though, but not the biggest fan of chocolate though. Yeah,
How about
so-
yourselves?
You have to do an Easter egg though, don't you? I'm
Yeah.
the same. Like,
Yeah, I
used
know
to
what you
be
mean. Yeah,
it hits different.
It
I
does.
feel.
It
I
does.
feel.
It does.
Yeah, I got a lint one a few days ago, and I was like, "Will I save it?" And then I was just by myself. It was just like, no one will know. And what is it? Still, I have to break the egg off my head.
Oh,
Yeah?
100%.
Yeah.
No.
But does it break like evenly? Or does it? Oh,
Wait, you break off your head?
Yeah, and it was a lint one. It was a lot thicker than I expected it to be.
no,
And I was
no,
like,
no, no, no,
by
no.
myself doing it as well. I was like,
Yeah,
this
I
is
said
just
that was
psycho.
kind of sore.
that's probably sore a bit.
Yeah.
But you know what's weird though is how like the Easter eggs are always in the shop for like 2 months or so.
Yeah, don't ready.
Yeah, like at the local, what's it, Spar Centre in my place. The Easter eggs have been there since January.
Yeah,
January.
I've been eating Easter eggs since January.
I had mine saved in the press, guys, and actually didn't touch it until today.
Well done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you know what? I'm proud of that, man. That was a good bleeding achievement.
Yeah.
But
I don't know,
length.
man.
Let's talk about length.
Okay.
Okay.
Daniel's give up anything for it?
No.
No.
Were you supposed to?
Well, like,
When? Today? From today? Or
No,
No, no,
40
it was
days
40
ago,
days
Ellie.
ago.
40 days ago to this day, you're supposed to.
So what did you give up then?
Nah, nothing.
What?
I was just testing the room, man. That's all. No, I used to do it, man. But actually, I'll be honest, actually, I didn't want to segue into a story, right? Because I thought of it
You
there.
didn't want to? Or you
Oh,
didn't
you
want to?
did. You said you were
Nah,
gonna tell
right.
it to me or something.
Because, yeah, no, I was going to say it to Dan, but I was like, nah, man, I'll wait
Let's save it
till
for
we're
the
on.
cameras, he said.
Yeah.
Save it for the cameras.
Right, this,
Okay.
We're rolling now. We're rolling. We've been rolling. We're rolling now.
Because this is the funniest thing, right? When I was like a kid, there was this chap I was mates with. He lived around the corner from me, right? This is when I lived in like, I'm still in Crumlin now, but this is when I was in like Lower Crumlin, right? Lower District Crumlin, if anyone's wondering, man, because that was a mad spot.
I didn't
Still-
know there was a lower Crumlin.
Did you not? No. Yeah,
It's just Crumlin, man.
I have some mystery to me, man. Lived in
Okay.
Kerry as well. Yeah, swear, for like 2 years.
Where?
In
Anna,
Kerry.
do you know Kerry?
Yeah.
Anna Skull.
My mom's from Kerry.
Stop. Whereabouts?
Tralee.
Tralee. Tralee wouldn't have been out there too much, you know.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
okay.
Not my neck of the woods.
How old were you?
It's like Lower Crumlin.
No, Tralee is Lower District Crumlin. That was straight.
That's all. We love Tralee.
Yeah. I was in Anna Skull down in Kerry.
For how long? Like how old were you?
I was very young, man. Yeah, like 8 or something.
Oh,
For
okay.
a little bit, it was nice.
You had a bit
But-
of experience under your belt.
Multicultural individual, you know.
Yeah.
When I was saying about length, right, there was a fella that lived around the corner from me, and I remember we were walking up towards the Spar down there at the Transport Club, and he turned to me, he's like, "What you give up for length?" And I think I gave up like sweets or something. I was like, "What about you?" And he's like, and you could see his hand like twitching, right? And I was like, "What did you give up?" He goes, "I can't do it, man." Right? There was a bus coming towards us, and he gave up throwing stones at the bus. we were walking, and like, he picked it up and all, and he was like, "Nah, I gave up that again, threw it away." And I was like, that, like, it was like an unlocked memory there, and we were talking about that.
No, is that,
Yeah.
was he being for real? Like,
Be dead serious.
That is
yeah.
so funny. The hand shaking.
That's yeah, man. The little trembling.
It's like the hair.
about to relapse.
Yeah.
I don't do this anymore.
I've seen the light.
That's crazy.
Jeez, on that note, we are Bar for Bar Musical Conversational Podcast.
Let's get
Hey,
into it,
I'm your
man.
co-host Ron, and alongside, actually, Kev's not here. Kev is.
Kev, yes.
What happened
sorry,
to Kev? What happened to
Kev
Kev
was-
there?
What's
In a car crash today. Just hope he pulls through.
Sorry.
Wait a minute! Wait a minute! What was that? What was that?
I wasn't expecting such a somber moment.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
obviously,
we do that. We do that.
Kevin, we hope you're okay.
Yeah, Kev's cool.
He is okay though.
He is okay.
He's okay. He's okay.
No, he's good. He's good. He's good. He's good.
He's had a rough year though. What's he going through, man?
Oh man.
The avalanche. What else was there?
Oh man. Do you not remember he got bit by the Cookie Monster as well?
And the snakes on 2 eyes. Do you remember that?
There's been a lot. This chap's had a bit of a tough year.
It's a rough year for
Still
Kev.
looks good though, somehow.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Hair is
Good,
looking
man.
perfect
rough
anyway.
already.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's enough about
Even when he's not here, bless him.
Make sure you're here.
Bless his soul.
Oh, he's
We have Mick. How you doing, Mick?
Back on the Lucas head, boys.
Again.
I got a tough time for last week, but
But here, that doesn't mean you're back on it. It means you're just still
You've
on
been
it.
still on. And why original? I don't mind original, but why is that your go-to?
it's the kick, man. It is, man. 'Cause you take a sup and it's like, oh, do you know what I mean?
So you really buy into the ads, don't you?
What?
The ads.
What do you
like,
mean?
Do you know like when an ad say like you see an ad and it's like, oh, there's like a kick to it in the ad. You're like, oh yeah.
No, because it's like,
Actually,
Like wine.
because you know when you drink the orange one, it's too nice, it's too easy, man. But that one, it's like, there's something to it, man.
Yeah, it's like diesel.
Yeah, man.
you're very brave drinking that on the podcast. So I'd be
Thanks, Ellie.
burping so much.
Oh yeah, it's heavy. It's
part
heavy.
of the game,
It's a
man.
heavy drink.
Part of the
That's
game.
what I'm saying, because I'm on that Lucas Aid now. I've gotten used to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a pro.
Acclimatized.
Nah,
All
man.
right. Okay.
good,
And
bro,
then
I'm
we
good.
have Dan. How you doing, Dan?
I'm all good, man. Yeah,
good.
good fun.
Just
yeah.
good fun.
Yeah, it's nice to have a 4-day week,
Ah, yeah.
isn't it? Yeah, it's weird. Some people don't work on the Friday, and some people do work, and some people don't work. But then everyone's off on the Monday for Easter.
Friday off, man. That's like tech companies now, yeah?
No, some tech companies were still open.
What?
Yeah, it's
Really?
weird.
On a Friday?
Like their sales teams are like, I have friends who were in sales. I was like, you're in tech, and they're like, no, I was working. I was like, oh,
Jesus.
it's like, my bad. But yeah, it's nice to have the 4-day week.
No, we had Friday off,
Yeah, Friday off
but I took off. I'm taking off the Tuesday, so
for rest, innit?
yeah. Just,
Yeah.
you know,
Especially after
okay.
the Arsenal result today.
Man.
He's an Arsenal fan.
I don't know what that means.
Does that mean something?
Just stress. It's always
Yeah,
stress.
okay,
It's always
fair.
stress.
Fair.
But but I'm gonna rest up on Wednesday. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna chill.
good?
I'll probably go to the cinema or something.
Yeah, nice.
But Mick, I'm gonna throw it over to you. Do you want to introduce our guests?
Oh yeah, Mick.
Give us the bar for bar intro for our
Give it to
guests.
them.
Use the voice.
You want me to use the voice?
Use the voice.
Break out the golden voice?
Yeah.
Yeah, some pretty good stuff.
That's some good stuff.
Before we go.
Golden elixir.
Man, do you hear the sound?
Sip.
The
Get
sip.
sponsored by Lucas.
Nah, we actually got a sponsor, Irish Steam. It's like a luxury champagne thing from Bulmers.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I seen this episode of Meg. That was a joke.
That's what we want.
Watch the episode again.
But like the amount of people
That
I thought it was
believe
real as well. I was like, oh my god, Mick looks great. I was like, this is amazing. Congratulating you guys. And I was like, hold on a second. I'm way too good. But I was like, let me not say anything. And then my mouth closed. And then my suspicions were true.
But the sad thing was, it was like the people who really supported us were the ones that messaged. They're like, "Oh my god, this is great, man! It's gonna take us up a level." And I was just really like, oh, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Even my mom sent me a text and sent me the link, and she was like, "I'm so proud of you."
Oh.
And I was like, "Yeah,
You
man,
had
so
to
they
be like-
fools." Sorry, man. And then she laughed. She was like, "Well, your aunties are sharing it anyway, so don't tell them. They all believe we're sponsored."
Aunties are sharing it.
All over the gaff. Yeah,
No
yeah.
way.
It's too funny.
That's cool.
Aw.
Yeah.
It was great
Now
for
we
your
need to get
wallet.
sponsored.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Well, I'm gonna put it in the universe.
There we are. What?
Phil.
Phil.
We're looking for you.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
we
man.
want that sponsorship.
We
for
also
Phil.
want to fulfill sponsorship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live off them.
Man, they're the
450. They're too expensive.
Too
though.
expensive.
No, they're not, man.
Did
They're
it
a
go
good
from-
price. They're a great price. They're worth every penny. Sponsored by Bar for Bar.
Bar for bar, it works so well.
Yeah,
know, right?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Man,
I'm
universe, it's
into
out
it.
there. But
Yeah.
no, let's introduce the guests. We have Qbanaa here.
Come on.
Miss
What?
Truth of Desire herself.
Oh yeah.
Mrs. Creative Imperfection.
Okay.
Set Me Free Part 2.
Oh.
Hola. Hello.
The woman who killed it on New Day and Blue Skies.
Oh, I
Great song.
loved that
Great
feature.
song.
Those features.
Nah, do you know what it is though? If you haven't heard it, man, the outro to New Day. Man, Ellie, a video popped up on my Instagram. You know where you get memories?
Yeah.
And it was at the live show. And it was like this. I was like, man.
That was.
I was gonna share it, but I was like, nah, I'll save it, man. Save it for the right time.
For a rainy day.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't know. Do you ever get when people just reshared and reshared their old stuff and just like,
Yeah.
man, come on.
Yeah.
No, seriously though.
I get you.
Seriously though.
That was a really special moment though, because I remember flying home from London when I was living in London at the time,
Yeah.
specifically for that show, and yeah, I don't know, I was still really nervous performing live. Like I don't get too nervous performing live anymore, but like back then I used to get so sweaty and anxious and just I'd get almost like grumpy because I'd have to go up on stage.
Wow.
Just 'cause, you know, but like you guys are just so like I couldn't have done it without you. So
Ah, Ellie. My
Whatever.
heart. Man, have to introduce another queen.
Oh, absolutely.
Siun Moriarty, the woman behind Qbanaa. Some call her the Kris Jenner of the game.
Kris Jenner herself.
Siun, how you feeling, man?
That is
I'm
great.
doing really good. Thank you so much for having us.
Man, buzzing, man, buzzing. Right.
Yeah, I have to say your name's pretty cool, Moriarty.
That's really
Yeah, I get it
Fresh.
a lot. I get it a lot. It's great. And like when I've lived abroad as well, do you know when they ask you to like fill out the online receipts and
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah, yeah.
It's always like a bit of a Moriarty. They're like, no. Have you seen Sherlock? I was like,
I didn't want to bring that up. I was like,
Yeah.
she's probably getting that all the time.
That's gas.
yeah.
No, gas. But no, right. Where do we start?
Yeah,
Where do we start with this one? Where do we start with this
There's a
one?
lot.
Because there's a lot to go into, man.
There's a
But
lot.
before we go into like, okay, because we're gonna talk about the music, we're gonna talk about how you got into management. But before we do that, man, how did you link together?
Great
It's
question.
actually a very funny story. Last year at Ireland Music Week in October, I was there and I had been there for the few days with Blank Bar, my other project, and it was the last day of it. And I was sitting outside just smoking a rollie, having a coffee, like very overwhelmed from like networking for the last few days. For
sure.
And this one walks in with this like fur jacket, looking like she's on a rollover or something. She was like, and I borrowed a lighter. And I was like, yeah. So we
That's a
sat
cracker.
down and we were chatting away and like chatting about everything. And she's like, I only found out this was on this morning. And I was like, the
Wow.
last day of it.
You went, so
I
you
was
found out that morning and went.
Yeah, was it the night
Yeah.
before maybe?
Man, Ellie, this is
No,
why I
no.
respect you, man, because you go for stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see opportunities and you go with them, man. Honestly, man, ever since I've known you, you've been doing that.
Ah,
So
thank
respect,
you.
man.
I don't know, I just saw it and I was like, oh, let me just pop the head in. Didn't really know anybody in there, and obviously, like, I'm quite confident on stage, but like, I'm a naturally very socially anxious person. So like, I walked in, I looked around, and I was like, nope. So I went outside. I was like, okay, I need to have a smoke, and I didn't have a lighter. So then we just started chatting.
The rest
Aw.
is history, as they say.
That's crazy.
Truth and Desire was out that night.
Truth and Desire came out that day. So at the end of the conversation, I went, so I presume you're an artist. And she went, I am. My first single actually just came out today. And I was like, today? She was like, yeah. And I was with another friend of mine, Neve, who works for a small record label based in Clare. And Ellie walked away and the two of us looked at each other. I was like, I'm going to check out that song, but I feel like it's going to be good. And it was. And then, yeah, we started chatting then. And yeah, the rest
Wow,
of it is history.
man.
Yeah.
That's a nice one.
Yeah. It was, great.
Was it the fur jacket that was the winner, though, yeah?
It was, yeah.
Because I think, like, well, no, because we're artists, right? There was actually a thing where just no Normac and James Shannon.
Oh yeah, of course. The
Man,
boys.
yeah, they're legends, man. But Normac was saying when he first linked with Mitch, he was saying like, "Is Mitch now? If you're watching, bro, like, no, his hair is cool, right? He has nice hair, he does. But like,
Who? Mitch? Okay.
yeah, no, his hair is lovely, man, right? But
what?
no, right? Say it out loud.
Read him.
Right? No, because, right, back in the day, he had it like short, right? I think he had a blonde as well, and he had these like love hearts in it, man, going through it. It was fresh, man. And Normac was like, that really made him stand out. So I think with an artist, sometimes the look, that's why I asked that, 'cause if you have the fur jacket, you know, you catch a few eyes, it's like, oh, who's that, da-da-da. And I feel like Mitch, his hair is lovely, man. I'm actually not disrespecting his hair, and he's gonna cut my hair soon as well, so I'm definitely not disrespecting. His hair is lovely. Pictures, man,
His hair is
Yeah.
lovely. That's something like your granny would say, man.
What?
Lovely. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, lovely. Yeah.
It's lovely, yeah.
He's got lovely hair.
I'm just trying to be a good friend.
Well, speaking on like being an artist and having a look, man. Let's develop your look.
My look,
Yeah, what's gonna be your look?
man.
You've
So
got a look,
You've
I
got a
feel.
look.
I do have a look.
Yeah, you
Thanks,
do.
guys.
The big puffy jacket and the cargo jeans.
Yeah, man. And vintage
And the
tees
tees,
all the
yeah.
time.
Tees, yeah.
Wrong.
But that's Mick though. That's
Mick, look.
but that's not Mick Zart. Who was
Big Zart.
So Mick's art is
Yeah.
more leather jacket, kind of like. Yeah, leather jacket,
Bad
maybe.
boy.
Suede.
You don't know the real me.
But I think like more jewelry probably in the future.
Okay.
Well,
A few more rings or a few
You
rings
know what I
on.
mean? Maybe a tattoo, who knows?
Yeah.
Do you have any? You don't have any tattoos. do you?
No, man.
What would be your first tattoo? Look, me interviewing you now.
Yeah, switcheroo.
Probably get Tug Life across the stomach. Why are we laughing?
And then you what? You get like no regrets across the thing.
Yeah.
No regrets. No regrets.
I don't know. I think like I don't
Get
know.
Eminem's face tattoo on your body, man.
Are you joking here?
No,
man?
bro,
the way
it's
you
great,
love
Joe.
Eminem.
You love
should-
Eminem, bro.
You
This
get him
is
tatted.
this is jokes over here. Yeah.
No, you should go watch that Kamikaze.
Yeah.
This is dust, man. Stop. Nah, man. Like I think I don't know, man. It's a good question. Like, cause I think I'd like to get something significant, but something cool as well. Do you know what I mean? Cool and significant, yeah. Cause you know what I kind of. That's not that I don't rate it, but like, see a lot of people just get like a name or something.
Oh, some people have bad tattoos.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That is the truth
No, That's
very
of
true.
the matter.
Yeah, so true.
That is a G.
That is the
Yeah,
full
man. But I've seen like a few butcherings and I'm just like, that has turned me off a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like maybe Crumlin Shopping Centre might be a decent one.
Yeah.
Are you
Crumb Drum! What about that?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
He's like, so many people just have names.
If I
No,
contact
that's
an artist and get my
R.I.P.
vision.
Crumlin Shopping Centre.
A what?
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Crumlin
Crumlin
Shopping
Drum.
Centre.
This is over. Yeah.
I'm out.
Alright, to bring it back in,
Yeah.
I want to ask used to a question because used to obviously have worked on Truth and Desire,
Yeah.
which is your first track,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's an amazing track.
Also,
Nominated for track of the
nominated
year.
track.
Nominated track.
Oh,
of the
bring
year.
it up, man. Bring it up.
Yeah.
So
Talk about that, Dan.
So how did? Oh, you know. So how
I
did
wouldn't.
used to end up starting working together?
Good question.
And that's one thing I've always also wanted to know,
Yeah.
because I think when I first met the both of you were actually in a session together.
Yeah. Oh,
Opening in the manner, yeah.
Shit,
So that was like ages ago. So I was always curious, how did that come about?
So I have to plug something, right?
Run it.
Because obviously we all complain about social media and stuff, right? We all give out about it. But I saw Ellie on Instagram doing covers,
Yeah.
right?
Oh man.
Yeah, and there was a few good ones, man, but there was one that stood out, man. Qbanaa. Yeah, man. And when I saw that, I was like, because I hadn't actually saw an Irish artist cover that track.
Wow, okay.
First of all. And then it was the voice, Ellie. I was like, man, there's a certain vibe here. There's a certain frequency to this that I really like. Do you know what I mean? It was the song choice and the voice. I was like, man, this is class. And I shared it. And man, that's the thing, when I shared it then, man, I actually had people hit me up like, man, who's this? And then obviously Mitch and Cam were like, man, who's this? And I was like, man, new artist, we should work with her. And then Mitch hit Ellie up and he sent like a Google Drive, right?
Yeah.
I had like 3 or 4 beats in this pack.
Yeah.
And man, do you know what surprised me though, right? Because I had like 1 or 2 kind of more low key beats that I thought you were gonna pick. And then Ellie picked Blue Skies, which is more like, I don't know, man, there's like a certain rolling drum pattern in it. But the synthesizers in that, man.
Yeah.
This is the thing, man. Your voice just goes beautiful, in my opinion, it goes beautifully with those like airy synths, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like a perfect marriage. So then when you picked that one, when I heard it, I was like, sick. But I was away then. I was in Germany. I was recorded, which is actually kind of sad, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we're actually doing a version of Blue Skies at my headliner.
Stop!
Exclusive.
Plug it, man. Plug it.
Yeah.
With
so
live band and all.
live band.
That's class.
We're making it into a full
Whoa.
like band kind of thing, and Mitch is gonna get up and sing with us. and rap with us.
Which is so nice because I've always said
Yeah.
since I met ye through Ellie,
Yeah.
you and Mitch, like the love that I've seen ye show Ellie and vice versa has been so lovely to consider that was the start of you kind
Oh,
of doing your
100%.
thing.
I wouldn't be able to do a gig without doing Blue Skies. That's what started it all, do you know? And for you to see talent in me when like I was actually listening back to that cover a couple of days ago and I was like, Jesus, why did you reach out to me? Like, I
know that
was like,
feeling,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
it sounded good at the time, but now listening back, I was like, Jesus, there's so much progress that I've made. Like I thought I sounded shit back then. So for you to like see talent in me at that stage is like, I don't know, I just really appreciate it.
Ah, Ellie.
Yeah.
That was so nice, man.
Oh,
Maybe we'll get
whatever.
our first cry in the pod, guys. Yeah.
I knew it was going to be today. I could feel
Today,
it.
Yeah, no,
today.
and when you asked me to do that collaboration with Mitch, I was just so happy to be working with anybody. Do you know what I mean? Because like,
It's hard.
it's hard.
It's hard, yeah. It's hard when you have nothing out, man. I agree.
It's so hard when you have nothing out and like just working on covers like the whole time. Like,
Talk to me about that, like, because a lot of people start off doing covers, but they don't progress past doing covers. You know?
Yeah. No.
Do you have something to say, Mick?
But like I feel like that's
Continue.
It's a bit of a trap that like a lot of up and comers get trapped into, that they only do covers.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get yourself out from just being known for doing a cover to actually doing your own
Yeah,
stuff?
how do you
doing stuff of substance?
how do you actually encourage people? And because it's a very vulnerable thing to actually put pen to paper and express something how you feel with a melody.
100%.
It's a very vulnerable thing. So like even you talking your experience of that, of like how do you get yourself out of a box of just trying to actually express it, put it into words, and that it's this place where you're actually like, I'm happy with it to the extent that you want to bring it out and put it to the world, because you're literally putting out a piece of yourself,
Yeah.
which is such a thing. Which it's such a
It's
vulnerable.
vulnerable,
thing.
man. It's tough
Yeah.
to put yourself out there, you know?
For sure. And that's why people get stuck doing the covers thing, because like it takes away that vulnerability,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah,
When you're doing
100%
another
sure.
person's song,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well at least I know I'm not going to get critiqued for the song, because it's a song I
Yeah.
love and it's a song that more than likely is pretty well respected in some way, shape, or form. But to take that step and to do your own thing, it's so scary, but
Yeah.
oftentimes worth it. And look, maybe the first one's going to be shite, but you should still give it a go. Do you know what I mean?
Fact.
Yeah.
Fact.
Because you never know what can come about from those opportunities. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the two of you linking in with each other. Do you know, someone
Spot
might
on.
see it and see something special in what you're trying to do. So
Yeah.
Oh,
100%.
spot on.
do the
I
thing.
don't really know. Like, I guess I started. I don't know if this mic is like too close. Or, like,
No, you're
too
No,
far.
you're fine, you're fine.
Like,
You're good.
keep on.
Yeah, you're alright. You're
No,
good.
you're good. You're
Okay,
good.
cool. So I don't know. Before I started writing music, I was writing poetry. So
Oh,
I've been writing
yeah.
poetry since primary school, like second class or something
Sick,
like that, or
man.
senior infant or whatever. And like storytelling and stuff like that. So I was really into like English. And then I was always kind of into music, and then I stopped. And then when I came back, I kind of just eased myself into it. And the way that it was less intimidating for me was to start doing covers. And then when I got comfortable with myself enough that I listened to enough songs that I really liked, I could take those inspirations and be like, oh, I like that verse that they were doing. How can
Yeah.
I make
Yeah,
my
yeah.
own story? You know? And then just kind of, I used to put on those SZA type beats on YouTube. Sing to myself and then listen back and be like, oh, that was really bad. Then do another one, and then until I got to a point where I was like, okay, yeah, I can make a melody up. And then, before my collaboration with yourselves, I did a collaboration with this guy called Presley Butler
I remember that, man.
from
Yeah.
Texas, but that was
Yeah.
actually under my real name, not under Qbanaa.
Yeah.
And he sent me over a track, and he was like, do you want to just do a verse? And I remember I was just in bed, and I was like, I'm going to send him over whatever, and I'm sure he's going to say no. That was actually over a cover as well. You saw my cover of Big Pig, Perdida. I'm going to say it in an Irish accent. Perdida. That someone from London shared to him in Texas.
That's class,
The
man.
internet's wild. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
Yeah.
crazy how it travels. Crazy how it travels.
But I just sent him a voice note. I was like, what do you think of this? And he was like, absolutely, let's do it. So I just recorded it in my shitty microphone, and that got released. It's not the best work that I've done. But I guess like my advice is like, you're never going to be happy. No work is ever going to be done. Do you know what I mean? So there comes to a point where you just need to be like, okay, I've done everything that I can do at this moment in time. I need to release it. And then from that feedback, do it again and just keep doing it. Because you'll get stuck in demotopia if you don't.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
that's the
That's
worst place.
great
to be.
advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My biggest advice is don't get stuck in demotopia. Like, you
I
need
hope
to get
Kev's
stuck in-
watching.
Yeah. Bring that
I hope Kev's watching, man.
You know?
That's class. And that
Great
also
advice there, Ellie, yeah?
brings me back because you mentioned something there of scissor type beats and influences and pulling things. So can you I'd love to know, like, because I was even saying to the lads, I was like, I get a real big Amy Winehouse vibe off you.
Yeah.
I'd say Amy's a big influence for
I
you.
have an Amy Winehouse tattoo.
No way.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, I can't show you guys. But
you
yeah,
can
she's
see it
here.
there.
That's so cool. That's so sick.
Fresh, man.
But who else
That's dead.
inspired you to? Who else inspires you when it comes to creating music, and who are your influences?
Eric Badu, obviously.
Go.
Saw Eric Badu last year at Jazz Supreme.
You saw her live?
Supreme, yeah.
What?
Oh,
Wow.
How was it?
It It was great. I was on mushrooms, so can I say that on this podcast?
Yeah,
You can say whatever you want in this podcast, man. There's no censors here, man.
So
Yeah.
she just like, she's already such a goddess, but I was on someone that I met, I was like, up to this random guy, I was like, can I get on your shoulders? Because I was on such a love bus. He was like, I've never had someone on my shoulders at a concert before. I was like, let's do this. And it was magical. Oh my God.
Man.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Man.
But anyways, back to my influences. I love SZA as well. Who else? I love 90s hip hop. So I love a lot of like MF Doom. I love Victor Von. I love like just anything with like a good rhythm. I also love like Buena Vista Social Club, which is like shout out to my Cubans.
Man, I played one of their tracks of Soul Juice.
Yeah, Chan Chan. Was
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah. Sick track.
Class.
Who else? I have so many different influences that is quite hard to like pinpoint who I'd like to write like, you know. But definitely like Amy Winehouse is one of them. Nina Simone, just like storytelling songs, you know, things that tell a story, you know.
That's
Sick.
hard. That's
very-
very hard. 'Cause I've been trying to do the storytelling in it. Like I would write like a short film, or I would write like a short story, whatever. But I've been trying to put that from that form of storytelling into the music, into songs. I'm like, how do you do this in like 2 minutes? How do you do this in 3 minutes? You know,
It's hard, man. It is hard.
It's a skill. Like when you hear the greats do, and you're just like, man,
Yeah, it's tough.
it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
When I started writing music, there was no structure to my songs because like I just write as if I'd write a story or write like a poem of my life and how I felt, and then I remember bringing it to I think it was to yourself or somebody else anyways, and they were like, okay, so what's the verse and what's the chorus? I was like, I don't know. What's a chorus? I asked him, what is a chorus and what is a verse? I had no idea what a chorus or a verse was. And now obviously I do know kind of, because it is still quite complicated.
Yeah.
You know? And it's hard to write a story in a song these days as well, because it is so, you need to write a hook.
Yeah.
You need to write a verse, like everything,
Has to
you
be
know?
so
There's a whole
long,
thing
yeah.
to it. Actually, just like random question. What's your favourite storytelling track?
Oh my gosh. Big question. Pyramids by Frank Ocean.
I was gonna say that. Yes, you. Yes, I was gonna say that. I literally thought the
First
same
one that
thing.
comes
I was
to
like,
mind, though.
yeah, it's just it just goes so long.
It does.
I'm going through it in my head now.
That's a bit of a go pick now. That's a bit
The
of a go
journey
pick.
that song takes you is crazy.
Yeah. It goes through
Big
time and
sun
all, man.
comes strong
Wow.
through the mountains.
Oh,
Yeah,
stop.
so
That's such a
good.
beautiful
Cleopatra, man.
track.
My friend
Cleopatra.
got the Eye of Cleopatra tattooed on her body because of that part in the song.
Wow.
Hit different.
That's such a good. I'm so happy you said that.
I've actually haven't properly listened to that, like to the lyrics. I
Really?
love the
Ron,
I
really?
I love the production
I love
of it.
the
Yeah,
production of it. It's one
yeah,
of my
but the
favorite
lyrics.
Ron.
songs.
Oh,
But I
Frank.
actually haven't paid attention to the
Have you
lyrics.
listened to Dissect podcast?
Yeah, but I haven't listened to the.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
there's an episode
I
on
would-
pyramids, right? And it
yeah.
breaks down the whole thing. And I swear to God, when I listen to that, I'm like, it's like he's like Stanley Kubrick doing a film, and
Yeah.
that was like the level.
yeah.
Because it goes from, when I'm just listening to it, I'm like, all right, he's talking about missing this woman, da 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 da. But it goes from being like a king back then into present times,
day, yeah.
and he's just lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, listen, like, oh, so good, man.
Well, he just has it, and it ties back into, like, he didn't wake up one day and write songs like that, you know. And I don't know
No.
if you ever saw that letter that he wrote to his
Yes,
past
to his
self.
past self. Yeah.
And he's like, you finally put the album out. People actually really like it. Like, you're on Jay-Z's
You're on
newest album.
Jay-Z's
You know
newest
what I
album.
mean? So it's like,
Stuff.
he had all
Yeah,
that.
Frank's
He
the
worked on it
goat,
for like
man.
8
He's the
years or
goat.
something like that, and like mulled over every detail. Like
He's
we
the
were
goat.
saying earlier. So
He's the
practice
goat.
makes perfect. He is the goat.
He's the goat.
No, this
the
is
goat.
Let's chill with
He's
that.
He's the goat.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
we'll skip. We'll skip.
No,
we'll
we're not
skip.
skipping none.
Go on, say it, Dan. say it.
No. He's the. I just agree with
Alright.
Sean. He's insane.
So,
I'm Team Dan on this
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
I have
he's
to
the
say
goat.
now.
So from that one then, Siun, like who influenced yourself to get into music and management as well? Because obviously that's like, it's a different route
It is.
than being an artist, you know?
It really is.
It's tough route as well.
It is kind of, I suppose, on paper it seems like it is, but I think management has always played very naturally into my strengths. Like, I like to think that I have I'm like the oldest of my cousins, I'm the oldest of my siblings, so I feel like I have a big sister energy anyway. So like that kind of nurturing, that kind of nurturing has always been something that I've done, and I feel like when I started moving into music, my main thing that I really wanted to make sure that I did was to really help artists and to use my compassion, for want of better, my passion and my compassion for music and seeing artists do well, to kind of put it into the right space. And that's always kind of gone through anything I've worked in music.
Nice.
But yeah, my influences, I don't know. Like, I think a real turning point for me years ago was watching, I don't know if you've ever heard of the documentary Supermensch.
No.
Shep Gordon, I love you.
Ooh.
But he is basically a manager. He managed like Alice Cooper and loads of these people back in the day. And he like fell into being a manager because he was working as like a prison guard, got kicked out of that job because no one liked him. And then he went to this hotel in LA where like just all the celebrities who were trying to make it in Hollywood were there at the time. And he heard someone, he like smoked a load of weed, I think he took a load of LSD or something, and he heard a girl screaming by the swimming pool, and he like runs down. He thought it was like someone being like assaulted or something, and basically tried to rip them away from each other, and the woman punched him in the face. And he was like, I'm so sorry. She was like, what the fuck are you doing? Went upstairs, and it turns out it was Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin having sex by the pool. And he thought that they were like getting into this whole thing. So the next day they all kind of laughed about it, and he ended up hanging out with like all these celebrities for the next 2 days. He was like, I've got like grams and grams of weed, and they were like, come on in, you're pretty funny, you're cool, you've got loads of weed on you. And then they were like, oh, Alice needs a manager, and they were like, Alice who? Alice Cooper. And then basically, such as the rest is history. Like, he goes on to manage some really incredible people, and he's just like super mentions, because a mention Jewish I think means just a nice guy. And like they have a plethora of famous people who are just like, he just did it with so much love and compassion. And he has like this house in Hawaii everyone goes to, and it's very chill. So I watched that years ago as I was like starting my career into working in the music industry. I started off in music licensing, and I do events
Music
as well.
licensing? No way.
I did law as my undergrad.
Wow.
Oh,
Man, this fella is
yeah. Where'd you go?
NUIG.
NUIM.
Ah, no way.
Yeah.
And he was.
I can't do anything.
That was flawless.
That was amazing.
That was brilliant.
But yeah,
man.
so yeah, that's how I got to where I am now, and did a lot of artist coordination. I lived in London, came back here, and then when me and Ellie bumped into each other, we just said, let's try it out, how, and see like where I can help her with, and it was just a match made in heaven.
At the time, I remember it was like during winter, and I had been kind of managed by somebody else, but then it wasn't working out, and I was kind of like, you know, starting off, it's really hard to get a manager to want to be involved. You know, they kind of want you to already have the ball rolling, to already be busy, you know.
So yeah.
And I already could see myself being really busy. I do a lot of like visualization and manifestation that we can talk about later, but like I could see myself getting busy, and I had all these plans that I wanted to do, and I needed someone to help me do it. And the person just wasn't responding to my texts, wasn't like giving me anything, and I was like, right, okay, I need to like move on from this situation because this person is just holding me back. And so, we met up, and I just was like, how am I going to do this? And you were like, no problem, ordered some mulled wines. And we made a plan for 2023 and how we were going to do all the stuff. And we're like, okay, let's just do it, take it easy. And like, let's not have any like titles on what we're doing. And then it just got to a point where those visualizations actually came to reality, and I've been getting really busy at that time, and we had a few drinks on us, and we were like, let's call a spade a spade. We shook on it.
Sick, man.
Yeah,
That's class.
Very organic.
Cool.
Very
Yeah,
organic.
man.
That's so cool.
Super
It was.
organic.
And this is the thing, I feel like my approach always to working with anyone that I've worked with over the last few years has always been led by, let's see how this works first, because like you were saying, a lot of early days for artists, people try to get managers involved way too early, sometimes like way too early. And like where Ellie was at, it was like her first single out, and I was like, listen, like if you've questions, come to me with the questions, but let's not like get into anything, no contracts, no talking about money, none of that stuff. Let's just see where I can help you out. And when we just realised how effective us working together was, then it was kind of a no-brainer to bring it into that space. But
Class.
I love that. It's just, it's organic, and it's the way it should be. 'Cause, like, I feel like people are too quick to hop into, I'm going to be a manager, I'm going to put the label on myself. Or, I'm your artist now. Okay, I want you to book me in for this festival. And you've been managed, you've been partnered up for what 2 weeks.
Yeah,
You know.
it's not
A
doable.
few
It's not
demos on
possible.
SoundCloud and all, you know what I mean?
You have to actually grab. You have to do some work.
Yeah.
But I'm actually very keen to. So you studied law, right? So, could you speak on it a bit more? Like, I myself, I'm going around. My career is also not. I'm not a lawyer right now. But like, speak to the ones like to the, let's say, to the up and comers, to the kids that are in college right now who are studying law, who are studying business, but they don't want to be in a law firm or they don't want to be working for like a Deloitte and stuff. How did you kind of create your path, create your career?
Yeah, that's a really good question actually, because it was, I don't know, did you feel the same? A very jarring thing to be in my final year of studying law and people were so dead pressed on doing the FE1s. And like I went and I did my little bit of time in a solicitor's office and it was just so tough for me. And I don't want to speak ill of it because I know for certain
For
people
some people
that's
it
what
is,
they
yeah,
really
yeah,
want
of
to
course,
do. But it just didn't suit I always had this kind of creativity, and when I was in Galway, we were always kind of like doing club nights and there was like a big techno scene there. So like music was always kind of happening in the background while I was studying. Maybe a bit too much partying. But anyway, it got me to where I am now.
Carbon.
Carbon. Don't go there. R.I.P. Oh, R.I.P. to Carbon. But yeah, and then in my final year, I kind of knew that potentially I'd want to kind of go a different path. So we were able to pick our modules, and some people picked them to suit the FE1s. But I ended up doing like media law and international law as well, but copyright and intellectual property and stuff as well. But it took me a while, to be honest with you. Like I went to Manchester, worked over there for a while, like was kind of liaising with some artists there. It was always kind of my starting of kind of moving into music was very much so artist coordination. Like I'd know a producer here and I'd know, a rapper here, and I'd link them and then I'd kind of help them liaise the project. And that's kind of where it started being, where I started kind of doing that bit of schmooshin'. But then when I was there, I made the decision to go and do my master's in music industry management in London.
Oh.
So that was at the start of 2020, and we all know how that went. But it was a real turning point for me, definitely, and I'm sure for you as well, to have that law under my belt, to have gotten through, to have done quite well in it actually, and then to proven to myself that, you know what, I can do the degree thing, but I will regret it forever if I don't try and do the music thing, because I just know it's what I love. And
so
it's like
relatable, man.
it's and I honestly think, like, I'm happy I did the law thing, and I do think that's a great foundation to have. But like, I just honestly think when you're in your 20s, you get so keyholed into like doing a forever carer job. Like,
Yeah,
who's supposed to know what they want to? Who knows they want to be a lawyer when they're 18? Like, do you know what I mean? Well, do you know what? Again, some people do. I don't want to knock that either. But like, for so many people now that I've gone and kind of done this thing and I'm doing well in it, anyone that I meet who's younger and kind of coming up in the creative industry, I'm like, just go hell for leather. Don't be embarrassed. Just put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And like, you can always circle back and do a job in the future.
100%. Always.
But yeah.
Always.
That was quality, Siun.
Thank you.
Fair
From the
to.
heart.
You're supposed to be a lawyer. I'm supposed to be a psychologist.
There you go. And here
Crazy.
we are,
Here we
sitting
are.
on a couch.
Gas. Man, so like to talk about then where you're at now and kind of like the lead up to that. So obviously we have to tell the story a little bit, right? We have to talk a little bit about Truth and Desire.
Oh yeah, 100%. We need to bring up loose change.
Right. So
Okay.
there's a story that I definitely can't get into on this podcast, right?
Why?
Because what?
Why?
Man, I know I have it'll just cause a shitstorm, man. Do you know what I mean? It's one of
Edit
those.
it out.
No. It's like it's a long story.
Okay,
It's a long story, but essentially
not
a
really
load of
special.
shit happened. I got COVID in a karaoke club,
indoors.
Nice.
right? This is over in Germany, and then I had to quarantine, right? And when I was quarantining, I was like doing this thing where I was like, okay, I'm gonna challenge myself here. I'm gonna make a beat a day. So I was actually making. It was the first time I really done something like this, where I was like making a beat and I throw it up on Instagram. And it was a nice thing actually, man, because you were getting like feedback and people were like, oh man, I like this one. This one's good. Send this one to this person. Da da da. But there was one I done during that, and it was called Loose Change, right? And it was like a beat that I had tucked away, and like I wasn't really doing anything with it. But you were asking me for beats. It was after Blue Skies for like a solo thing. And I was like, man, I have this one. So this is another thing I have to give you credit for, because that beat to me was just a beat that I had made. I wasn't going to use it. Like, nothing was happening with it. I'm going to play a bit of that beat, right? So you can see. So, like, this is like a testament to you as an artist here, because it was kind of like, don't get me wrong, it's a nice beat, like there's a vibe to it. But if you hear that compared to the finished thing, man,
Okay.
oh, it's crazy, man.
Oh, I'm excited to hear it.
Let me load this bad boy up. Let me see.
Yeah, that's a proper throwback.
And I have it called Qbanaa Cruisers here for some reason.
Qbanaa?
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
Qbanaa.
Is it here? What's this?
Okay.
Stop.
Do you remember that sample?
I just love the synth. So good. Yeah, and I was like, please take out the spin.
I remember you were like, can you just take that out, please?
And I remember, na, 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 na. I have sinned.
Yeah,
I've
man.
sinned on my memory.
Come on, you remember.
Thinking about you and me. Oh, those are the original lyrics and I changed it.
Man, so that's another thing as well, right? With this,
Obviously, I don't. That was shit. But.
with this track as well, like, man, I'll be honest, like, I was very impressed because, like, it went from a beat that I made in quarantine into a track with yourself, and then when I came back, we went here and we recorded it, and I remember, like, the first session and then the second session, I think it was after the second one, then you were like, man, I'm gonna change this, and then you added in, like, there's like a Spanish rap part, and then it was like you came back again then with the structure, and it was like it just kept, man, it was so sick to see, man, because like it went from that into this, then it went into this, and then you got, was it, I don't want to get this wrong, was it Noah Savior that done the guitar on it?
No, I didn't do the guitar. He's doing the guitars for my next single now,
Right.
for Creative Perfection. But
Someone added guitar in,
yeah,
and it was
really
like
fire.
the guitar was lovely, and then it was like, oh man, then it was like you hit me back and you were like, man, can you add in like chimes and all to start? And I was like, and that was the thing. Then I saw that. Then you kind of took like,
Took ownership.
yeah, man. And I was like,
yeah.
that's sick, because it's like there's so many. I'm not gonna. Oh man, I could, but I won't. But like, there's so much people you send beats there, and they're just like, oh yeah, cool, man. And then it goes away. You know what I mean? And it's just like the way you done it. It was like you took it so serious, man, that it went from a song, then you added another thing to the song, then it was rearranged, and there was guitar added, and as it was going on, then you were saying like put more stuff in, and then to what it turned into then in the end, I was like, yeah, I was super impressed by that, man. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, man.
I just saw the song and I was like, it wasn't there yet, but I could envision what it could be. I just didn't know the technical terms for it.
Of course.
Yeah.
I was just like, make it sound like this. And I was like, make a noise. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, we
But,
pitched
you-
it like down in the end, right? Or was it up?
We pitched it
We
up.
pitched it up
Because
in the
I
end.
was like,
Yeah.
I don't like the key, how I'm singing it. Can we make it sound... I was like, can we make it sound higher? I didn't know what the technical
Yeah, the
term for like
technical
pitch it
term.
up or whatever.
Yeah.
And then remember we took like 100. We had like 100 takes of that song, and I was like, and at one point I was
man.
like, Miko, that what I was singing there was like the first ever demo of me, like,
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
there's a whole different like set of lyrics.
I have another one here that I haven't actually listened to. But like, do you want me to click it though, dear?
Go on.
Yeah. There we go.
I sound
can-
like ass. This
I-
is
no-
probably like.
No, wait, I'll tell you what. I'll pause it really quick if it's not hitting right.
Heavenly Mother, will you forgive me?
Is that what it was like?
That was the original, yeah.
Stop. It's like a Limp Bizkit song or something.
Biscuits.
My wife into
My last riz.
Oh, what a song.
What was the other one, you know, with the wah? That was another cracker, man.
break stuff. Was it? Or no, sing song.
Maybe there's no vocals in this. Yeah, there's no vocals in this.
But so
thank
what
gosh.
happened is that you went from a beat to a song.
That's very
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
And that's-
deleted those, and I remember you were like, Ellie, are you serious?
Man.
We're deleting 100 takes, 2 sessions worth. I was like, deleted it.
Yeah, she deleted it all. But
I
man,
was like, it's not good enough.
I'm gonna be honest though. That's the way to do it, man. Because you know this as well, man. I've stopped getting grilled for it though, which I'm actually kind of happy about. But I used to get grilled because if I made a beat and if it wasn't like a great beat or a beat that I really liked, I always delete it. So like the beats that I have are beats that I've listened to over and over and I'm not sick of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I actually think that is the way to do it. Because if you something, it's like It's good, yeah. It's not
But
bad.
don't delete it forever. Delete it and rework it or like rearrange it because you don't know, you know.
That's what I've been trying to get across to you though.
What?
That you can not delete it, but like maybe come back to it in a month or two.
Yeah, and you'll have different
think?
lens
Yeah,
towards
yeah,
seeing
yeah.
it. Yeah, that's right.
Boys,
But
I don't know.
But then at that time, if it still doesn't work,
then you can.
See,
yeah.
But I work really like solely off energy, man. And like when I'm listening to something, if I don't feel anything from it, I'm like, it's just dead to me.
Well, that's it. You need to feel what you're without getting too cringy. You need to like what you're making.
Yeah.
Make you feel right.
Yeah.
You know?
That's not cringy at all, man. I
Yeah.
completely agree with that because it's like, if you're not feeling it, if it's just like, yeah, no, it's okay. I just honestly don't see the point in it.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, but I think I remember I heard J. Cole say this one thing, and I thought it was very interesting. Do you remember it was on Off Season, and there's a song where he has with Black. I think it was like, do you know that goes Soldiers?
Where he says about the
he says about the beat that the beat was sent to him ages ago and it was sitting there, and he said he just didn't have the words to say at the time.
Yeah.
And then it later on came to the point where he was actually in the right head frame to like, actually this beat is
Hold
speaking
My
to
Hand,
me.
I think that
Hold My
is,
Hand
yeah,
was
yeah.
the song where he's literally just saying he's like, oh, I actually have the words now to speak to this. This beat's speaking to me now. I know what to write on and speak on it. So sometimes those things take time.
That's a good point.
It does
yeah.
take time, and sometimes, and I think that's the thing with being an artist or being a creative. It's when you're creating, there's such an element of it's such a journey of just trying to create it and actually just be there and be like, oh, you know what, I have to just maybe take some time away from it, come back, look at it, and then maybe come back and see it in a different lens and seeing it like a whole different light.
That's a good point.
And it's
That
just
is a
it's
good
hard because it's just time is just going, and you're feeling like you're wasting time. Like you're feeling like you're wasting time so much, but you're like trying to actually be like, no, but I want to do it right. I don't want to do it rushed.
Of course.
So it's always a tough thing.
Good point, man.
I watched a great little documentary by Miles O'Reilly. I don't know if you know him. He's an Irish. He makes music, but also he's a videographer. And he did this short documentary that's on YouTube, and I think it's also on Instagram, about Julie Mick. Oh, I wish I could think of her name, but I'll think of it now. But she owns a studio up in the North Analog. I'm gonna have to look it up now because it's leaving out and up. Anyway, she
Yeah, good.
records everything on tape, and basically she like started off recording. She like got a crazy scholarship. It's actually wild. I think that she had some kind of injury when she was younger that she couldn't see, so she like was listening to radio in hospital, and she got herself really tuned into all the different frequencies and all this kind of stuff. So she got like a scholarship to study music production when she was like 17 in Salford.
Sounds like a Marvel film, man.
She is literally a superhero. She's amazing. And so anyway, she records like up in Northern Ireland somewhere, and it's all on tape. So like it's basically like if you make a mistake, you have to learn to work that mistake into the final piece. So it was really interesting because it brought up a whole different kind of like world of production really that I think has been forgotten.
Yeah.
Because when you listen to like all that old like Rolling Stones or whoever your Janis Joplin's back in the day, you know, it's those times when someone like screamed into a microphone or like
you're so
fucking
right,
clashed
Sian.
a drum or something. So I think that like it's great to see that style coming into production a bit more now.
Yeah.
Where I think it's like integrating mistakes into things. Because while I do agree, and one thing I've loved about Ellie from the get-go is like being a perfectionist in this, it's not a bad thing whatsoever. But it's allowing yourself to incorporate those mistakes that maybe it'll make something beautiful, you know?
Nice. I like that.
I'm gonna find her name now.
No,
There was another thing I watched as well. Nas, I have him on the T. He done like a masterclass. I don't know if you've watched that.
No, actually.
Nas done a masterclass.
Cool. Nas.
Yeah, what a bloke. But
Well, blow.
man, I love Nas, and there's slander from these two all the time. Yeah,
there's
I
no
said
slander.
nothing right now.
What?
I said nothing.
I could feel that. I heard someone go. I heard it.
You incorporate this man into nearly every episode.
Yeah, because the first episode. Oh, yeah, this is now. This is a domestic dispute we have it off there.
It's like
But,
anyway, it's not a message. But
But
yeah, you're saying.
Nas is a legend, right? But in his masterclass, it goes directly into what you were saying there, Siun. He has one of his big tips is embrace the flaws, and he talks about his first ever single was Halftime. It was on like the Zebrahead soundtrack, and he was like, if you listen back to that, and he breaks it down, man, there's like bits where like you hear like all these mad tape frequencies. You hear like he says something about magnetize me. It's not a word. He says something else as well. He says something about Sly Stallone, and that's actually meant to be a singer, but everyone thought he was talking about Sylvester Stallone.
Okay.
So he's fucked up loads of shit. But he was just like, embrace it.
Yeah.
Like he goes, it actually worked for the overall thing, and I was like, I don't know, it changed my opinion because sometimes you try to be try to be perfect. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does perfect exist in music? Like, I don't know.
Embrace the
I
flaws.
don't- I
Like,
don't think.
Yeah.
it's like Leaving Cert Music. Danny used to do Leaving Cert
Yeah, I
Music.
did. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't.
No, I actually didn't.
Somebody Barry, George Barry, Garrett
No,
Barry.
it's
Gareth Barry's a footballer.
no, Gareth Barry. it's Jared Barry. I think it's like Jared.
Something like that.
Yeah,
his,
yeah.
his music is all just like the clash of sound, the clash of dissonance, and it's just like
What's it called again?
No, is that not Bach?
no.
You're not talking about.
Is he like a new composer? It's
Yeah.
all like
Yeah,
mad
yeah.
noises.
Oh, yeah,
the
it's
Irish
Jared-
guy.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
he's probably like in his 50s, 60s, or 70s.
Yeah, I know
Called-
exactly what.
Is it something to do with water? Oh, I remember there's a Diazire in it. That sound, is that the right thing?
Yeah,
I might have done my leaving in a different year.
but like that's the whole thing. Like,
It's so amazing.
I think with modern production now, everything is like programmed. That is almost like
Yeah, it's Gerald Barry.
Gerald Barry.
Yeah, yeah.
I do get that though.
Yeah.
Like sometimes sounds are a little bit too clean.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to my lyrics because I just don't want to make anything that just sounds like okay, here, whatever, just make a beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I think you can use auto tune very nicely in a very
Yeah.
subtle way, you know.
Yeah.
But like trying to get every single note to be pitch perfect,
Yeah.
yeah.
just not gonna do it.
Not gonna do.
Yeah, no,
It's not gonna do.
fact.
No.
That's what makes it cool, though.
It
That's
is.
what gives you your sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know?
You're so right.
It is.
Man, actually, there's a question, Ellie. Would you ever use auto-tune on a track?
Why does that sound like a slight diss or something to people?
What?
He's like, would you ever use it?
No, right?
Do you know what? At the start, I was very against using autotune. Yeah, I was like, no, let me hit this. I'm gonna hit the note. I'm gonna do it, and
Yeah.
that's why it took us so many takes. You know.
Can I say this though, right? Not even in like using auto-tune to get your voice to a certain way, but like using auto-tune as an instrument. Because my opinion has changed on this over time, right? Because when I was younger, I'll admit it, man, a bit embarrassing, but I did watch the X Factor with the family, right? And Simon
Everybody
Yeah,
did. It's not
very
embarrassing.
Yeah.
I'm
Hey, someone to
embarrassed
be
by
on
it.
there.
But everyone did.
But Simon Cowell, right? Anytime it was like, you know, like auto-tune was so frowned upon, like you're not a real singer, da 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 da.
Liars.
Do you know, right? My favorite artist, Kanye West, and I don't hear any standards.
I'm a
What's
Kanye
that
West
there?
fan.
We're
No.
This fella's just, what are you doing?
You're preempting
against
the
the
beat
world.
before it's even happening.
He's trying to start something. We're not engaging. We're not engaging.
Nah,
He's
right,
trying to
but-
start.
But Kanye West, right? He has this
I
album
love
called,
you.
man, he's the man. He has this album called 808s and Heartbreaks, right?
Yes,
And I-
savage.
Because on that album, it's like he's singing, but like he uses the auto tune as like a style nearly. And then another artist I thought, who was an artist that I didn't like for ages, and I kind of went on a little journey last year with him, Travis Scott, man. His
Travis
I was gonna say
who do you think I was gonna say?
T-Pain.
T-Pain.
The most famous instance of
That-
using.
That's his guy
I
there.
know all the lyrics to Apple
And like,
Bottom Jeans.
sorry, that was such a tangent. But like T-Pain, he can sing so beautifully without
Can,
auto-tune.
without, yeah.
His Tiny Desk
is
concert.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That
His
man
Tiny
has got a
Desk is beautiful.
voice.
Whoa.
So it speaks to what you're saying about using it as a tool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. When I saw T-Pain's thing, I was shocked as well. Because I was like, I always thought he needed that. Do you know what I mean? But then
Because
like,
he got the idea from hearing other pop songs. He got the idea of using autotune from hearing a Jennifer Lopez song.
Okay.
J-Lo used it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's why he started using it. Because it's not meant to, like, it's meant to assist and it's meant to make your vocals better. But it's like, it's been used for I don't know how long, probably since the 80s or so, that it's been used by pop singers and a lot of singers just to enhance a little bit. Because again,
Right.
you can't be in the studio for so long trying to.
Hit everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. Every
What was that
artist
other?
uses it.
What was that other instrument that remember we were talking about? You said you wanted the talk
I want
box.
the talk
The
box.
vocoder, is it?
I want the talk box.
The
yeah.
talk box,
Yeah.
the one where-
Vocoder.
Oh man.
Buzzy.
Yeah, my next single has a bit of auto-tune, but used in like a way where it's like makes it have effects.
Because there's this track,
So,
right? It's,
yeah,
you know,
sounds
Highest
very
in the
cool.
Room. Travis
Yeah.
Scott. Have you heard the remix with Rosalia?
No.
No,
Man,
actually.
Let's play it. We
Can
haven't
I
played
play it?
music.
Man, she does a bit of Spanish in it, but it's all auto-tune, and she does the, it's lit, and all, and I'm like, man.
Oh wow.
Elio, I just thought, man, the Spanish with the auto-tune, man. It's
Yeah.
class.
This producer coming
Yeah.
out of them now.
This is coming out of me. I was
100%.
saying.
Well, the next song that I've coming out is with an artist called Arlo.
Oh,
Okay.
Pause that. We need to chat about this right now.
I'll get it loaded. I'll
It's
get
very
it
Talk
loaded.
about this right now. Well, I was gonna mention this also. I was like, Soul Juice. Soul Juice is such a brilliant idea. It is
man.
such a brilliant idea. And I also wanted to know, where did you get the idea from spending some of your time in London and then bringing it back over to Dublin and seeing how, because in Dublin, especially feels like ever since after the pandemic, if you look before the pandemic, we didn't have spaces of like Vision Labs, open mics.
No,
we didn't have Soul Juice. We didn't have like Indie Heat Show to JLOL is doing it.
yeah.
There's so many different spaces now that are giving younger and up and coming artists to be able to actually, who don't have a song yet, or who don't have released music yet, or may have one song yet, to actually perform and do a set. Where did you get that inspiration from to do that, and how did that come about, and how did you plan to do it now? Like,
So, I lived in southeast London for a year. I moved over by myself. I got offered to do my master's / PhD in neuropsychology because I was doing really well in it. And I made really good friends with my thesis supervisor. But then when she gave me the opportunity, I was like, no, I'm going to go to London. I'm going to do music. So when I moved over by myself, obviously London can be a very lonely place.
yes, yeah.
Busy city,
So
man.
big.
Very busy.
So you feel so small. We were chatting about this when we started getting to know each other.
Size of the buildings as well, man.
So
So true.
massive. So
Nah.
so true.
No, but it actually is so true.
I won't cut in, but I experienced that in
We
London.
don't have that here. Like,
Exactly.
Oh man.
But yeah, so how I got to make my friends was through going to all the open mic jazz jam night sessions. So there was one every single day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So I'd be a salesperson by day, and then I'd go to the jam sessions at night, and I'd always end up like coming into work like with my head like spinning, you know, 'cause
Yeah.
I'd be there all night jamming with these people, and then obviously when I had to move back home because I had surgery, like I was like, where is this scene?
Wow, yeah,
I was
wow.
like, where are spaces for like, because everybody thinks of jazz as just like the classical standard.
Yeah,
very
yeah.
uptight.
You're so
Everybody's
right.
sitting there, you know, and it just wasn't like that in London. Everybody is just sweaty and jamming, and anybody's just, you know, it's
Yeah.
just crazy, like
Yeah.
chaotic energy. I was like, I want that, you know.
Buzzy, man.
You feel like you're on drugs.
It's
you
like
know?
just going flat.
You know.
Oh, sick, man.
and I think it ties into like with the Soul Juice thing as well, with the open mics in London, like in the Jago or like Matchstick Playhouse. I know where you were a lot. You have some of the best people in jazz playing alongside people who are just trying it out for their first time. And it's like Ellie said, there just was nothing like that in Dublin really happening. So back to you then. And back to you.
So I was like, yeah, let's stop waiting around for things to happen, and I just saw the
class.
opportunity,
Oh, that's class.
and I was like, let me just try it out, which is obviously like so scary because I was like, where are all these people hiding? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But it seems like people really love it, and I
Man.
wanted to like build a nice little familia.
Aw.
So
And it's so smart as well, because one, you've done a few things here with that. One, you saw a problem when and you said, I'll be the solution. You literally said, okay, I'm gonna be the person to start it. Two, you're actually creating a space for other people to actually express their gifts and be able to grow in what they feel like they're as a musician. And three, it actually helps people get to know you and also see your music and see who you are. Because then you also perform at it.
yeah,
And you also are the head at it.
yeah.
So it's a thing of like, you've built the platform for yourself and for other people to grow in this scene.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It
But
really
it's
is.
not seen as a way of it's like, oh, you help me, I'll help you. It's like, no, it's actually it's a community.
Community.
It's,
It's
a
a
community.
community.
Oh God.
It's a
I'm sorry. It was there. It was there. I had to.
Do you know?
Bars.
Which is incredible. Do you know what I mean?
We all need to lift each other up. Like there's
Yes.
doesn't matter what stage of music that you're at in your career, like I feel like you always need to just be nice to each other and try and help each other as much as you can. There's enough
course.
space for all of us. Like
Do you feel like there's
Good
an elite?
message, Ellie,
There's
yeah.
like a sense of like elitism when it comes to music in the scene of like people who are like, you feel like they're just there and they not look down, but you know what I'm trying to say here?
In the what?
There's like a sense of
yeah.
like there's an elitism of when it comes to certain
In what?
people in the scene.
In the what?
Oh my God.
The
Yeah, in the scene of
space.
space and
Space.
music. The space
We
of
call it
music.
the space.
He doesn't like the
rebranding
word
that, yeah.
scene. He doesn't like the
We're
word
not
scene.
into
He doesn't like the word
I saw
scene.
this in the last podcast as well.
Yeah.
Space.
He doesn't- yeah.
You guys, I'm a big fan. You
Oh,
know?
we love fans. We love fans.
Yeah, no, this is the
appreciate
scene.
it.
is so
Ellie,
much
watch
on.
the 30-second clip.
Don't do that to me, Siun. That's crazy.
She didn't.
That's too much. You're like, don't do that.
I'm gonna get jumped now. I mean.
Brilliant, man.
No. But yeah, do you think that's a thing that you can both actually talk about that since you
I
both?
think definitely.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think that's always going to be the way because in
Always.
creative industries, there's no rule book, there's no playbook, there's no HR, there's no nothing. So like when you don't have a system or a clear set of kind of guidelines of how you're supposed to approach your career, once people get that bit of success after working so hard, people get gatekeeping about it. And there's a part of me that really understands that.
Yeah,
That they worked
100%.
hard and they have their community around them. But it does definitely fall into a negative space where you're not willing, when you come to a point where you're not willing to help other people coming up behind you. No, not cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of in school when someone never does their homework.
Yeah.
And keeps asking you what the answers to the homework was or what the homework was, and that person's just like, no, you can't have the answers to the homework. Just go and study.
That's such a good analogy.
You know,
That's
it kind of
good.
reminds me of that because there is instances where like people don't want to do the work as
That's
well.
true. Yeah,
They just
yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah.
come at you and take all your resources,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then like feck off. You know,
Yeah.
and I've gotten instances where that, and I do say to them like I was like, look, do a bit of the work as well, you know what I mean, and I will help you.
Yeah.
And I'm not even big in the industry, do you know what I mean? Or in the space, but you know that there is a thing where people do get scared about people just using that person to just take all the resources and then do their own thing, you know. So it is built based on fear as well.
It's based on
So
fear.
I do
Sure.
get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have to open our doors a little bit and try and, you know,
Because there's space for all of us to
Yeah.
succeed.
Yeah.
I think we're just sometimes we think there really isn't,
yeah.
but there is.
Yeah, I
really
think
is.
with music is there's so many different lanes, so many different avenues, so many different sounds as well. Do you know what I mean? That everyone can kind of eat. But Normac said it, man, on the podcast. He had a really good way of putting it. He was like, "What's the point in being like that?" Because he goes, "We're all kind of because we're in Ireland as well, right?"
Yeah.
He was like, "The Irish music space is only kind of getting going now.
Yeah.
Like truly, like, do you know what I mean? Like if you look at
Very
England,
exciting time here, yeah.
it's class, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Right.
But it's like we don't have like if you look at like the UK, like if just, I'm thinking hip hop here, but like we don't have a Skepta, we don't have a Stormzy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's still kind of fresh. We have a few people that are doing well, but like there's not these
You know,
staples.
Yeah.
Sell up, man. Shout out to him, man. Sell out sick.
Fact.
So Gemma,
Gemma don't leave the
Levy,
goat, man.
shout out
yeah.
Kojak. There's so many
Yeah.
people,
Sure.
man.
But do you know what I'm saying? They're like they could get to here. They
But
could
they're
get
still, in terms, they're still pretty young in their careers.
exactly,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're still progressing. So it's like because Ireland is there as a whole, we should all be like helping each other. Do you know what I mean?
The fact of the matter is, like, look around the room here, look around at a Soul Juice or at a gig. The people that you talk to now who are up and coming are going to be the figureheads of the industry in 10 years' time. Do you know what I mean? So be nice to everyone. Do you know what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
such
That's
a
the
great
issue.
show.
Yeah.
Be nice.
But like, do you know,
I
these
like
are
it.
everyone's trying. It's gonna work for some people. I hope it works for everyone, but some people might fall off because it's a lot of fucking work, as we all know. But yeah, just be nice.
Right.
Rule
Good
number
message.
one.
Good message. Good message.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad that like Soul Juice has become an actual thing where people feel like it's a safe space.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many artists that I've seen go ahead and like start doing more things with their music because they were like, okay, this has given me the space.
Yeah,
The
so right.
space to feel confident and to feel like, oh, I can actually do this, or like
Sick.
meet up and find band members. You know,
Yeah.
it's so hard to find instrumentalists.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Very true.
You can find a
Very
rapper just across the road, but you can't find
Can't find a bassist. So many rappers there. Can't find a bassist.
Find a good bass player, find a good drummer, find a good like saxophone, anything like, you know, and then they go
sorry.
to the Soul Juice and come out and I see them playing with one of the guitarists that was at Soul Juice at their next gig. Like I know Cahir has been playing with Moyo in the gigs. That I've been
Moyo's a
playing at
legend.
Soul
Yeah,
Juice,
class.
Miles, class, man.
He's
Moyo's
class.
sick.
He's very good.
No,
It's
that's
a beautiful
deadly.
night.
But yeah, it is a beautiful night and I'm so happy that Arlo got to
Man,
Sick.
Arlo killed that, man.
yeah.
You don't hear that sound often, you know. That's
No,
what-
they're amazing.
Man.
Tell you how I met Arlo was so how I find people to kind of I go to different gigs and different events and I'll kind of like scope out like, oh, I'd like to then to perform at the open mic and you know, new artists, and I obviously one night I was actually feeling quite low that day. I don't know what was happening. I think I was just having writer's block, but then Vision Lab was on. The Vision Lab open mic was on, and I was like, let me just get a bit inspired. And so I went.
Shout out D12.
Legend, Siun, legend. Thank you for that.
The Vision Lab open mic is always just such a good time, and I was
Shout out
like,
the
let me
boys,
just
shout out
go.
yourself, Ron, shout out Beck, shout out
Yeah,
Wally.
facts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shout out
facts.
So then afterwards, we were standing outside and they were having like a midnight session at Pirate Studios, just Arlo and a few others, and Baldy T as well, Tara. And so we all went over to Pirate, and I think me and Arlo were just like riffing over some songs together.
Class.
And it just came so naturally. Like, this is the first time I'd heard someone do improv the same way that they would have done it in London, like pure soul, you know, pure grit, you know, just like, oh, it was
Raw.
so beautiful, raw. And so we ended up writing a song together called Big Girl that night, which is going to be released under Arlo's name. And it's such a banger.
Yeah, it actually really is.
This is the next single, yeah?
No,
It's not my next single, it's going to be Arlo's first single. And then we ended up writing another song together, which is going to be my next single, called Midnight. You heard it here first.
Come on.
Go on.
And we're actually shooting a music video for it in Barcelona next week.
Come on.
And we're all taking a trip over with me, Amanda, Jolene, and Arlo are going to Barcelona to shoot a music video.
Shit, man.
But yeah, I was like, Arlo, like, you need to perform. Like, you actually need to get yourself out there. Like, why are you sitting here without music being released?
Yeah.
Well done.
You can say that about a few people, especially in this room as well.
It's so...
Kev, if you're watching.
Nah, we love Ken.
Sorry, that was a long-winded story. But
No,
Has
but
to
that's
go.
brilliant. Thank you. No, she's
Man,
sick.
whopper.
Who else is? Because we always ask this question in general, just artists that you in the space.
Thank you.
Come on, Dan.
That who else along with Arlo and other people that you've seen? Maybe they performed at Soul Juice. Maybe they're going to perform at the next one. Who else would you be able to mention? Now, being like they're really really cool and you're right.
Okay. Let me check, because I'm actually taking a break from Soul Juice this month to focus on the headline show.
Headliner, yeah, makes sense.
But there's these two lads called The Living Things.
Oh,
Remember them?
You know
They were at the show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they just two guys, is it?
Two guys. No, there's usually three of them, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
3 or 4 of them, but they were sick.
they were
Sally,
amazing.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh my! And it was so interesting. Like it was so different.
So.
But it captivated me from the get go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they were class.
And obviously, I have to shout out my good friend, De Cartere.
Yeah.
Amelia.
Very good. Very good.
Is-
So into you with Soul Juice. Do you remember that?
Oh,
That was a moment.
little
That
collab.
actually
Oh,
was. Yeah.
man.
I'm getting goosebumps thinking of that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Sounds
Amelia writes such amazing music, and yeah, she has a lot of really cool projects coming up this year. She's so hardworking. Yeah, so I'd shout her out a million times.
Whopper.
Is she opening up for you as well, or is
She is opening for
Man.
me.
Yeah, we need to talk about this headline gig,
And
man.
Kaylee Noble as well, another
Oh, yeah,
artist.
Kaylee
Kaylee
Noble,
is
yeah,
such sweetheart. Yeah, and great music.
Class.
She done a track with Rory Sweeney, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did. And
Yeah.
1,000 Beasts. Do you know 1,000 Beasts?
No.
No, he's a really cool producer. So, yeah, she did a track with him. What's it called?
that's a
actually?
great name for a producer?
1,000
Yeah.
Beasts, yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually pretty sick.
Really cool.
I was expecting a band when I heard that, actually.
Yeah, I thought it was a band
Yeah.
name more so anything, yeah.
I think it's called
Magic
Tokyo
Mix.
or something.
Tokyo.
Yeah. Real like pop
1,000
kinda
Beats.
tune.
Sounds like something like Skillet.
Yeah.
You know like Skillet?
Yeah,
Skillet the
Tokyo.
band?
Skillet the band,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, well.
Tokyo.
Did you listen to any rock music when you were younger?
Why did you ask that question?
I'm just asking out of
Sure,
curiosity.
no, why?
You don't give me that kind of vibe.
Do I not? I don't look
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
I don't look like a rock person.
Nah, you don't look like a rock person.
No, I like a lot of soul, jazz, R&B.
I like jazz.
I did try to dabble into rock.
Did you listen to like Linkin Park and them?
Yeah,
man?
Linkin Park.
I used to love Linkin Park.
Fort
I was
Minor.
such an emo kid.
Fort Minor.
Fort Minor was because it was that mix. It was that mix of
song,
rap
man.
and rock.
So funny.
That's too.
We
funny.
mentioned Limp Bizkit. I didn't really get into them.
Roland was good though.
Actually, what I do I liked Guns N' Roses, and I did like
Guns N' Roses.
AC/DC and
Yeah,
I like
the
that kind of
classic
the
stuff.
classic stuff.
Yeah.
I like Breaking Benjamin. I used to love Breaking Benjamin.
That's a throwback.
Evanescence.
Yeah.
Oh, talk about them, Ellie. Talk about them. Talk about lithium.
Wake me
Talk
up.
about bring me back to life. Talk
It's
about
happening.
them.
It's happening. We're doing it.
Yeah,
Man, her
We're doing
voice.
Amazing.
Her
So
voice is
good.
incredible.
So good.
Fam. Oh man,
Oh.
this is oh my days.
Break out the emo fringe, boys.
Oh,
Yeah? We're
no,
going back to Central Bank
No,
with
but
this.
just as a piece of music like this, the entry. What are you talking about? What are we talking about? This is an incredible song, man.
Bam, bam, bam.
I used to have so many edits on YouTube to this song.
Yeah.
So many edits.
How many streams does this song have?
How many streams does it
I'd
have?
love to know.
Oh, it definitely has to be over 100 million.
786 million.
Yeah, had to be.
700?
786 million.
I'm not surprised. It transcended genres. Like
Takes it to a whole other place.
Wow.
It's like,
Here we go.
It's like,
wake me up. Can't wake up. Oh, man.
I really enjoyed that.
Oh,
That's
what a
a
song.
throwback.
That was a throwback and a half, man.
What a song, man.
Me and
But
Ellie were
feeling
both emo kids.
Yeah.
We had emo phases.
Man, I had a phase where, do you know that station Scuzz on the TV?
Don't talk.
yeah.
Unreal.
Scuzz and Kerrang! Do you remember
Kerrang!
Kerrang?
I used to get the Kerrang bags and everything.
I did, bro. I had like bleeding. I tried to grow the hair out and all. It looked
Yeah, the
scrap.
Kerrang.
Yeah, I remember I got butchered as hell once, man. I went to a mate's gaff, right? And I was like, my sister said it to me. And then I said it to like one of my mate's older brothers. He's like, oh, I listen to rock. And I go, are you a Scuzzer? Because my sister said to me, goes, Scuzzer, what's that? And he's like, do you watch this station Scuzz? And he's just like, I was just like, dust, man, dust. I was like, now I like rap music.
That's too funny.
But now, right, let's talk about this headline, man. Because from what I'm seeing, man, and what's being like teased on social media, I'm super excited for it. And what you said there about Absentee, man, as well. I have to say one thing actually quick, man. You hide a lot of information, Absentee. Do you know that? If you're watching. No. Because he keeps things quiet and then he says it like you should know it, like that. He told me, but only a few days ago. So I didn't actually know
only a
that.
few days ago.
Man, I know. And when did you say it to him? Bet you it was ages ago.
I mentioned it a while ago, but then it kind of, I've only really started getting the set list together the last week.
Right.
I didn't realise I have 14 songs now.
14.
Wow.
14 songs. When I started Treating Desire, I had one song.
Jesus, Ellie.
Yeah, I know. So I was like, how am I going to fit all these songs into the set list? I was like, Blue Skies has to be in there. So I was just like, okay, so we have like...
Oh, man.
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be saying all this information about the set list, but I'm just going to say it anyways. So the whole set list, we have a full band there, but there's going to be like an intro, there's going to be like a piano piece, and then there's going to be me, and then there's going to be the full band, and then there's going to be acoustic, and then
you're going to have to buy a ticket to hear about it.
Plug it.
There's the manager.
Maybe I'll stop there.
But
Maybe I'll stop there.
one thing though, I rate so highly is that you're thinking about the night
Yeah,
from
man.
beginning to end.
When I say
It's a
she has
show.
put so much love into this show, it is just not even funny. It's
Because I don't
just-
want it to just be like, okay, this is me, Qbanaa, listen to me sing blah, 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 blah.
It's
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
experience.
It's an experience,
Yes,
right?
well done,
Yeah.
well done.
So
well
at
done.
one point of the experience, which I'm not going to give away,
Sorry, I had
No, you're right.
Blue Skies is
You're
going
right.
to
You're right.
Blue Skies will make a little performance, and we have a theme for it, so it's not going to be exactly like the production, but it has a theme to the song.
Shit.
I loved that. That was good.
That's incredible because that's something that for future artists and few people that want to create those type of things, like some people, I remember having conversations with people who were talking about shows, stuff like that, and they just talked about like, oh, I'll do those big things when there's a budget, or I'll do those big things and think creatively when I get there, when I'm at that, You know, you start thinking about those things now, and you start treating it now as if you're there. Because then you're actually like, when you get that space, you're like, oh, I've been doing this already. I already know what to do.
You'll actually do it better, man.
You'll even do it better. So the fact you're already thinking about these things like detailed, like meticulously, and you're like, from someone comes in, it's gonna be like this. They're gonna see this. They're gonna see this. That makes me be like, I'm going to go. Like I'll remember that night.
Yeah, I want it to be a story. So
You know, so that's class.
yeah,
That's
no,
class.
I'm really excited about it, and like, it's not only gonna be Absentee. We have other really amazing special guests, which I'm not gonna say.
You have to buy a ticket.
I want to say who the guests are, but I can't. So
Nah,
please
nah,
buy
we'll
a
go,
ticket.
we'll
But I feel like I wanted to make the most out of the price of the tickets. It's only £12, but I want to make every cent worth.
Yeah,
it.
100%, 100%.
You know, and yeah, biggest show of the year. Wow.
Yeah.
Come
Man.
on, come on.
Yeah.
Buzzing, man. Buzzing.
Yeah, I'm
stuff.
buzzing.
Listen.
And then now this is your biggest show of the year, but we're in April. What are you planning on doing for the summer? Any ideas? What you want to do?
Try to get festival vibes.
Oh, she's looking at the manager already.
There's some undisclosed. You signed an NDA?
We have
No,
a lot
Chris.
of very exciting stuff lined up for this summer. Some of it, most of it, we can't really talk about right now. But a lot of stuff in the pipeline, which is very exciting. It is coming into festival season. I'll say that and I'll say no more. But also, I think what we're very much so also focusing on is after taking the break with Soul Juice now this month, we really want to build Soul Juice over the summer as well. Like get some Soul Juice summer sessions going and like really create that hub. It's easy to always look beyond, and we're definitely ticking off the list of kind of approaching the festival circuit, but also trying to continue building what we've started building now in Dublin and kind of nurturing that community there. So, but yeah, a lot of exciting things for the summer. I can't wait.
I had to look at you. But yeah, really, really exciting stuff. Have a show in Limerick then after my headliner, which we're going to prepare for, but it's going to be with Oceana, which is
Here, man.
Yeah.
They have to get shout out.
For sure.
They're class, man.
Yeah.
Unreal.
so
Crazy talented.
crazy talented musicians. Shout out to Gabriel, to Will, drummer, to Raul, who's been helping me so much. He's on bass, synth, backing vocals.
Shit, man.
Who else do we have? We have Morgan on the trumpet as
Yeah,
well.
Morgan's a
He's
bloke,
dope.
man.
He's
Yeah,
dope.
he's sicko.
Yeah.
Such a sound odd.
Sick, man.
And then Kaylin, obviously, it's not part of Oceana, but has been working with me very closely. Yeah, I just couldn't do it without them. And like just meeting them all, I feel like it's been such a journey. Like I've had my fair share of like, you know, going between, you know, things and events happening, and you know, they've been my rock the whole way. So yeah,
Lovely,
it's
man.
been really cool.
Team is so important, isn't
Team
it?
is so
As you know.
Big
Yeah.
time, man.
Yeah.
Big time.
Can't
Because
do
it's
this.
not going to be easy a lot of the times, you know, life as a musician, like, or as an artist.
Man, life as an artist, man. Because the thing is, right? I know, like, there's a lot of pitfalls that people can fall into, but I feel like, especially when you're kind of newer as well, man, a lot of people try and play it a little bit. You know what I mean? That there's a lot of these games that happen. So one thing I think is important as well. We were chatting. Man, you mentioned actually. Do you remember we were chatting to Courtesy on this podcast? Do you remember what he said about that show, the promoter and all?
Yeah.
Like another big thing I think that like I would like is to actually just share information about that, because I don't know, man. I feel like with young artists, especially like with Absentee and all, we've had one or two kind of things where things kind of look a little bit funny. Do you know what I mean? So
For sure.
yeah. So like in terms of, how do I say this correctly? Like Siun, yourself helping Ellie, I think is a really good thing, because you have a bit of experience with the industry and all. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say here is like it's good to have those people around you
Yeah.
that can, how do you say it, like
That you can trust.
that you can
Yeah.
trust and that
Yeah.
will guide you in the right way.
100%.
Because I'm
Yeah.
so gullible. Do you remember there's...
Lads, the stuff that I've had to do.
She's like, scam.
Scam central,
Do
like.
you remember that audition for Glastonbury.
She's like, I got an audition for Glastonbury. Like, the profile had about 2 followers. And it was like a Google Photos picture of a Glastonbury stage player at Glastonbury. I was like, I don't know.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about.
She was just like, I'm so glad we worked together.
Honestly, though, because like
But
you
there
get
is
so
a lot of people.
You get excited and you
You
get
do, of course,
yeah,
of
yeah,
course,
You're so
yeah.
right. You're so right.
And as well as that, like, there's another thing as well, man. Like, people want you to pay to get into some playlists and all.
Yeah, it's shocking.
Yeah. So like that actually, that's another thing to bring up, right? Because like with playlists as well, there was a video. Mitch actually sent it in today, right?
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
was saying like, I don't know who it was, but some artist, and they were like, we put out this song, and they were saying that the track was in Canada. They got onto like a load of big playlists, right? And they were saying that they got like, what was it, like 20,000 streams from the playlist?
Okay.
But they got like 200,000 streams from their fans. So like, how do we pose this question?
What do you think is more important?
Yeah, essentially.
The making, look, you can pay to get Instagram followers, you can pay to get streams on your music these
Yeah.
days. Do you know what I mean? It's not real.
Yeah.
I saw a brilliant video that I sent to Ellie the last day, and it's this guy called Sound Strategy on I'm always sending her bits like
homework to, like,
literally. But it's
good
this
though.
guy Sound Strategy on Instagram who's amazing, and he basically said people focus on upcoming artists or people who are putting out their first album or something, focus on making music that they think is going to get loads of streams. They were like, you want your first album when people look back on it to be something that is true to your sound, and that is more important. And if you're making music that you care about, people, someone will vibe with it. If you're making something that you genuinely think represents you and your music, and that is more important. If 10 people listen to that and really fuck with it, that's more important than fuck it going viral on TikTok.
Chill.
You know what I mean?
Remember with
Do the thing. Come on,
Wisdom.
remember with Creative Perfection though, like
Yeah.
people,
which is also a banger of a track.
Yeah. You know, man,
Also a
track.
banger of a track.
but after Truth and Desire, like I did get like recommended that I didn't release Creative Perfection.
Oh,
Or
yeah?
at least just yet, because like they were like, oh, it's going too much off the sound of what Truth and Desire is, and you want there to be like continuity to your sound. I was like, but this song is how I'm feeling right now. This is what I want to release, so I'm going to release it.
Jesus.
But it is a thing, like, you know, where people do get caught up too much, and I did really doubt myself. You did have to talk me out of like focusing too much on people's opinions of what they
Big
think,
thing for an artist, yeah.
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
they think will get me to where I want to be, and it's like, no, you just need to be authentic, and if that's what you want to release, just release that.
Yeah.
Sick,
You
Eddie,
know?
yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And look how it went. Do you know what I mean?
So
Yeah,
well.
fact.
You know, I don't know. I feel like people do get, even myself included, I get so caught up in, you know, what's gonna do well, what's gonna get
Yeah,
the most
yeah, yeah.
views
Course.
and this, that, and the other. But you also have to do it. Remember why you're doing it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
And because you're doing it because you love it, and it's a form of expression.
For sure. And much better to look back on, like, you know, in however many years' time, to look back and for that first song you put on Spotify to be a song that you still love, rather than
That's-
something that you
yeah,
edited to
yeah.
fuck just because
Yeah.
you thought it was going to get played on the
Yeah,
radio
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
sure.
That's a
You know what I
great
mean?
point, actually. Yeah. Because, man, I thought, for me personally, I actually thought it was genius to put that as the next single because.
So different.
Exactly, man, because you're not pigeonholing yourself. Do you know what I mean? Because let's
Range. That's our new one.
I'm diverse.
say I was gonna do community, it was there, man. But like the thing is, right? Because you have Truth and Desire, then you have Creative Imperfection. But it's like, let's say if you went Truth and Desire and Truth and Desire Part 2,
Yeah.
then the next. No, but you know what I mean. Then the.
Shouts out Miko.
I didn't mean it like that, guys. But then it's like the next
Get it
track.
going.
People will be expecting
Yeah.
The same thing.
exactly, man. Do you know what I mean?
For
so
sure.
it's, so it's like I think it's actually really smart that you
like-
went a different
yeah.
route with the next single.
Yeah.
It's like that TikTok challenge. Like, don't let them know your next move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
My
Keep
next
people
single is
guessing.
very different as well.
But that's.
And
Yeah,
you're gonna
that's.
hear it at the headline as well. It's very different to the other two songs.
Yeah.
And I want to keep it like that. Like, I'm not signed to a label yet. Like, I can literally do whatever I want.
Exactly, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Because when you get that and the politics came in, like I felt so bad. I think remember we were chatting on one episode. There's one album I love, and it was by Stormzy, and it was his latest one. It is the one, but it's so beautiful because it's. But then I remember chatting to other lads about it, and they were like, "I don't go to Stormzy for that." Like Stormzy was really open and honest about this album. He was singing on it. The songs that are there, it's a lot very melodic. It's very vulnerable. But people are like, I don't go to Stormzy for that. I go to him to hear him rap. Or I go to him for hard songs.
Bro, yeah.
And even he said that there was a point where he performed them at concerts, like his hard songs. And then he did like some soft ones. And then he said like on stage, he was like, but y'all didn't come here for that. You didn't come here for the soft songs. We'll go back to the hard stuff.
Oh, yeah?
And one of his boys said to him, was like, no, but that represents you. Like, he says, like, that, if that's you, like, why are you putting that side of you to the side for what everyone else does?
Yeah.
It's actually suppressing yourself.
That's a good point, Dan.
It's just like, oh, man.
What's the song "Blinded by Your Grace"?
By Your Grace,
It's
beautiful
one
song.
of my favorite
Yeah,
songs.
beautiful song. Beautiful song.
And when he sings it live, and he has the whole choir with him. as
Oh,
well.
it's just incredible. Choirs, man. I love choirs.
Yeah.
Sunday service.
Choir.
Good choirs, man.
Bro. That Father Stretch My Hands mix, man.
Back again, Kanye West.
So actually, right, we will talk about Kanye for a second, right? Because see,
Oh,
when
really?
he don't... What?
Really?
No, yeah,
It's on the
because...
agenda, okay.
And then Nas as well.
Jeez, you've a
So-
whole agenda here. Come on.
Go on.
It's
Miko.
all right, because you know how you were saying, like, you can kind of do what you want and kind of break off from, let's say, a traditional sound. Because, like, when Kanye done 808s and Heartbreaks, the mad thing is, when that album came out, you can say what you want about it, but it was panned.
I love the
Yeah,
album.
Man, no, it's amazing now, man. But, like, at the time,
It was panned. Yeah, it was.
It was shy, it was this and that. It's like, what's he trying to do? Trying to sing and all. But, like, that was the album that he had to make because obviously his ma passed away. He
Yeah,
broke up
yeah.
with his fiance. He was like, rap isn't conveying this emotion. So he done that. And then if you look, that's probably one of the most
It's one of the most
influential.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the most
Yeah.
influential albums.
It changed
Even
the whole
Travis
sound, man.
Scott, Drake, some people took
Yeah,
influence
man.
from
They
808s
tapped
and
into that
Heartbreaks.
sound.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're, as you kind of said earlier, but if you're true to yourself, even if it is a break from convention, it can really mean a lot. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, looking back at it.
So many songs as well don't get recognized until like years.
Years,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool because TikTok actually does help with that.
Stop.
No, it does. There's some songs it does.
No,
help
that's the
back up.
agenda. TikTok. Over
It
there.
does- It does actually, like, there's, well, I think there was a big time they were listening to Frontin'. Like, Frontin' was big by Jay-Z and Pharrell. It was back, it was just back
that
on
song
TikTok.
was all-
And I
That's
love
that
that song.
I actually understand, like you know when the older people were like, "Oh, what you know about that song?" I actually understand it now because it's like Mrs. Officer, like that was my song in 2008, and then my sister,
Yeah.
she's like 10 years younger than me, and she's like, "Oh, listen to this new song, like new song."
Yeah.
But again, music is timeless.
Music is music, man.
Music is music. Music can be timeless.
Did you
Yeah,
hear about
that's
the
true.
American Boy one?
There's a,
This hurt me. a
is this
little
making
bit.
this making
No,
the rounds now?
is it a remix of it?
The Fortnite thing.
Oh, I don't know.
Fortnite?
What?
The TikTok remix.
And it went up, and there was loads of people commenting like, "Oh, did Kanye get this flow from Fortnite and all?" And there
Oh
was
my
no right,
goodness.
and
The
there was
game?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, is that Fortnite the game?
yeah.
Oh.
There's like these little kids made like a Fortnite freestyle,
Okay.
and people were like, "I can't hear the Kanye one anymore," and people were saying like, "Better than Kanye's flow and all this," and I was, man, right?
Oh.
American Boy is a classic, and I'm like, this Fortnite freestyle, like, man.
That song went off when we played it at Soldiers.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. fun.
That was a good moment.
Great.
You guys are the best.
That was such a fun night.
That was
I was just like,
man.
we're
I
just
want you guys
buzzing.
at every song.
We'll be at every Soul Juice. We'll be at there. We'll be there.
That
We
was a
will be
buzz,
there.
man. That was
You
a
will
buzz.
be
And in
there.
all the
When?
videos, it looks like a boiler room because you're like in behind.
So cool.
It was so sick. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh,
You
It
gotta
was
be
the
there,
best.
man.
Do you remember Gabriel? Because Gabriel was like playing the
100%.
guitar, and like they were playing, and at one point like he was just playing. He just turns around to us and he's like looking at us. And we're like, go on.
That's it. The energy, man.
The energy
Yeah.
was so
You guys
man, it
have
was a
great
buzz.
energy.
Man, oh, did you watch it? Because I was saying that when Meg was on, I was like, it was like the whole few days leading up to that. I was like, you know that nightmare you have when you're doing the leaving cert?
Yeah.
And you know,
Oh
you
my
don't know
God,
anything
yeah.
on the paper.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you're in your jocks, and then everyone's finished. So now it's like, it's just like thing after thing. I was like, man, because I was like, I have to basically learn how to DJ in a few days.
I know you were saying on the last podcast, so we won't rehash too much, but like I remember just being like, Miko, you can definitely do
Yeah, man.
it. 100%.
I
like,
appreciate that, Eddie.
I
Yeah.
respect your taste in music. Like,
Yeah,
you know, I don't know. I feel like we have very similar tastes.
of course.
So,
Of course.
you're like, oh, I don't know if I could do it. I was like, you're literally just flipping some decks. Like,
Yeah.
man.
Nah, sound for that.
And
Because
you're
I had
so
a.
passionate as well. I know that
True.
everything that, like, not to, like, be sappy or whatever, I
Yeah.
know that anything that you put your mind to or your
Yeah.
heart to, you're, like, 100% passionate about
Yeah,
it.
course.
and you were
And you,
like
like,
all the way
try-
studying
yeah.
how to DJ just to do that one.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man, a lot of YouTube tutorials.
Someone that cares,
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
You might cry.
100%.
You might cry.
But because that also leads to,
Crack
because
him.
obviously you work together on Truth and Desire. So how important it is for you as an artist to have a good relationship with a producer? Like, have you worked with people that you've been
question.
like, ooh,
That is a
Oh
good
my God,
question.
wasn't
I've worked
fun? And then, and then now you found a sweet spot with, say, if it's Mick with someone else, is like, with every song, is that your go-to person? Like, what's it like now, and how was that journey, like, finding someone to produce?
It's funny because at the start I'd literally work with anybody.
Yeah, as you do when you're trying to start up, yeah.
Of course.
And I found myself in some tricky situations with people that, you know, I don't know. I feel like it's so important to have a good relationship with the producer over anything, because like making music, as we've said, is like such a vulnerable moment.
course.
You know, and to be creative is to like be like free and safe within yourself, that you can like express what you're feeling in that moment to like make something like musically. So I feel like it is like one of the top things that I look for is like, can I actually get along with this person and feel safe enough that I can write music to?
Of course.
But yeah, I used to work with everybody, and now I try to just like work with people I really trust and feel safe with. I think I'm very grateful and blessed to be at a point where I can actually do that, because you know, it's hard starting out, but yeah, I keep my G's.
Sick.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, like music question? Because it was like a guest. Well, someone that an episode will come out with this person. Oh. wait, can I say that though? Can I?
Well,
Well, you haven't said anything.
I haven't said anything.
No, but like, can I?
You can future reference.
All right, cool. JLOL, man. I saw you in the studio with him.
Oh yeah,
Man.
we're working on a track together. Yeah.
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 Man, how did that come about, man? Because he is a gentleman. I have to say,
is a
man.
gent.
Yeah, he's a lovely fella.
Yeah, he's great. I think how it happened, God, because so many things have been happening. It was because Oceana have worked with JLOL, and so I work with Oceana, and so they were like, okay, we want to release a single, and we want you guys to be on it. So. We ended up recording with Vlada, who is an intern at Camden and a student at Pulse College.
Sick.
She's such a legend. So we ended up recording with her, and we kind of wrote the song there and then. So we're still working on it, and there's going to be a few rewrites, which is normal.
Of course, yeah.
But
Sick, man.
it's a cool kind of like back and forth conversational kind of song. So jazz in the background.
Super exciting.
So super exciting. Still in the works, but should be out when it's ready.
Sick, man. Yeah, no, I wanted to ask about that. One other thing, right? Because we're kind of... Yeah, we're getting close to time now.
Closing time.
But, last question, right? Dream collab. And like this, right? And this is a genuine thing, right? Dream collab with artist and producer. So like, if you could have, let's say, someone do a hook for you, or someone do a verse, versus someone to produce your track. Do you know what I mean? So like,
I'm like,
no, Siun, come on.
I'm already thinking of
Yeah.
my answers though. You got asked this question again recently on the radio, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's such a hard one to.
It's such a hard one because I don't really know like
Dead or alive?
like dead or alive.
Yeah. Yeah, like, no, like, I'm talking, like, putting together your dream track, because, man, we play these games here, we do, like, put together, like, dream festival lineups.
I love those.
Yeah.
You see me voting.
Yeah. We're big on, like, the fantasy stuff.
No. Go.
Back to Frank Ocean.
Oh my god, I do a collaboration with either Prince and MF Doom.
Whoa!
Both. Yeah.
Like, wait.
Even
Man.
Which brilliant answer.
Which one's producing the track?
Oh, I don't know.
Because if you imagine an MF Doom beat, like Doomsday, with you on the hook and then Prince on the verses, man.
Prince on the guitar.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus,
And we both wear the
man.
platform shoes as well. Match.
Sick, man.
So either that or like obviously like I'd love to make something with like SZA or Erykah Badu or something.
That's also another great one there.
But, yeah, there's loads of Irish artists as well that I'd love to collaborate with, and yeah, there's so many people.
Yeah, no, facts.
That's dope, man. That's I like that answer. That caught me off guard.
Man,
Yeah.
same.
Prince
Like,
and MF Doom.
yeah, man.
Qbanaa?
And then
Man,
you
I
on the
like
hook,
that.
like, oh, man.
Right?
Yeah, man.
Disco, hip hop.
Do you know what? So Qbanaa and Mine are working on an album together.
Oh, that's
Here.
Feature Mine, aren't they?
Yeah,
called?
Catch Your Mine.
Just put
Yeah.
out the single on Friday. It's
Sounds
so
great.
good.
Yeah,
I
so
haven't
good.
listened to it, guys.
Kate and I'd be a good and
Featuring
this being
Pharrell.
said, actually, yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that.
Yeah.
And this being said, like, it's so great to be working with Vlada at the moment, because thinking of that question, I want to be able to think of so many more female producers to answer that question.
Yeah.
Because like my go-to there was like Rick Rubin is like another person who's like a big inspiration for me, like music, just his approach to nurturing
He's
artists.
super
gifts.
creative and
He is, and I can see myself growing a beard and probably walking around in Birkenstocks.
Nice.
You know, but yeah, it's amazing to see so many like projects, mentorship programs, and things like that nurturing women in the production space. So I want to see that
yeah.
really go on the up and up and up over the next
sure.
years.
Sick.
For sure.
Liv Dottie as well.
Yeah.
Liv Dottie, I'd love
Yeah.
to collaborate. This is like a big artist, but a bit smaller than like Prince and stuff.
Yeah.
Liv Dottie is a new artist. I
Liv
think I should
Dotty.
check.
Live Dotty.
Yeah.
Okay.
LIV.E. Yeah.
Ah.
Collaborate with.
She's
Oh my
sick.
god, she's sick.
That new album, I don't know, her newest album is absolutely incredible. So she is
What
like
kind of sound
some,
is it?
she's quite soulful, but then there's like some random like songs in between that are like these mad drum and bass instrumentals and stuff like that.
What?
Oh, cool.
She's sick. Really,
Yeah,
really
man.
cool.
Here on the
Visuals are
24th.
amazing. Yeah. Up
You
next
going?
month. Yeah, fact.
That
Yeah,
is
hopefully.
Gig Central.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
So right, before we close it off, where can people get tickets to the headline show?
You can get tickets on. Oh yeah, I was like, who's calling? You can get tickets on Eventbrite. Link down below. I was going to bring a poster. I was like, I forgot it when I was going out there.
Ah.
But yeah, tickets either on the Soundhouse website or on Eventbrite or on Ellie's Instagram link.
Yeah.
But it's not to be missed. It's going to be an incredibly special night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'm hyped for it. After hearing like what you were saying there with being a story and there's all different parts.
Super
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah,
We're all
sweating
there.
for it.
We're all
Yeah.
there.
And then guys, the last thing, socials.
Yeah.
Plug them.
I was gonna ask that.
Where can people go to find you?
So sorry, that's my mom calling me.
She's like, come on.
Come on. So you guys can find me on Instagram at Qbanaa, Qbanaa. And if you search that up on the Google search as well, Eventbrite Qbanaa, you'll find the tickets. And for Soul Juice, you can find us at Soul Juice Night. So Soul Juice Night, just one word. But yeah.
And I don't know why you'd want to follow
Oh,
me.
why
but
not?
Siun, plug it,
Siun,
Siun.
plug
Plug it,
yourself.
Don't
Siun.
steal her away
Listen.
from me. I share a lot of good music on my story. I will say that.
There you go.
There we go.
Is at Siun, Siun Moriarty, spelled like in Sherlock. That's me. But yeah, no, it's great. I actually put loads of stuff up on there, and still working on my own platform as well. Blankbar at _.
Plug that, yeah.
Which is all about it's the management comes in tandem of that, and it's all finding ways to engage listeners in the discovery of upcoming artists.
Oh, nice.
Well, listen,
yeah.
from behalf of us, thank you both so much.
Yeah, man, that was a buzz,
Yeah, that was
guys.
a lot of fun.
Don't forget
Man.
to like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
Check out their socials. Check out ours, please. And
Yeah.
just do it.
Follow us on
do it.
TikTok
Follow us
as
on
well, man.
TikTok.
Yeah,
Follow
do
Qbanaa on
the-
TikTok.
Do the TikTok
Yeah.
thing.
Qbanaa TikTok is actually sick. I've actually seen it.
Follow Ellie on TikTok.
Can you play the Qbanaa song?
Man, I have
Yeah.
a cue there to
Yeah.
close out.
Play it, close out.
Oh, thanks, guys. Yo.
See you later. Peace out.
Man, this is my first listen to this one.
No way.
Swear.
Awesome.
That's such a great mix of two people, man.
Man, Pharrell.
That's crazy.
Oh, where are they going?
Listen to the flow.
Walk up in this bitch like stop by.
Hey.
She over here talking about not bootleg. I'm so west, this should be my last.
It began the same.
I'm looking
Save. Straight away, man.
my love goes deep.
30 seconds.